now we'll let the audience build up here. Um, I'm writing something down real quick because you guys made me think of something I thought would be part of a good topic to get into. All right. Because, yeah, one of the things we're going to talk about dogs and Bigfoot. I thought that'd be a little interesting since, Pat, you made me think of that. So go ahead and try that out here in a little bit. Now, a couple of us won't be on tonight. Nikki, she's not feeling well. Bobcat will be on. He's finishing eating, and Baltimore will be in here if we're still on here after an hour. And then, Kelly Ray Jones will be joining tonight. See, I'm trying to make sure if I was leaving anybody out. I think that was about it. So anyway, here we are tonight, Friday the 28th, and I am going to start with Jimmy. Jimmy, how you been doing?
Hey man, I'm making it. How about yourself?
Yeah, you could say I'm surviving, making making hay while the sun shines and getting through. Well, first of all, look, we got Zach. Zach is promoting his match tomorrow night. For those who know about Zach and his wrestling, yeah, he said tomorrow night he'll be wrestling for the SPW heavyweight title. Oh my! So, yeah, that should be interesting. I think that should be a live match right there. That should be a live match. I want to see that live. So any bloopers, we can laugh at
it. Yeah, Zach, make sure you get somebody to tape that so we can see it.
Right.
Yeah, he usually does get somebody to record it, but I would love to see it live. If somebody could Facebook live it or something, that'd be awesome. Zach, if you're listening, I think that would be a good option. If you could get someone to do a Facebook Live with your phone, yeah. Like if your mom's gonna be there, have her sit front row.
Yeah, there you go.
or your brother, one of the two. So, what's up, Donald Slovey? So, Jimmy. I don't know. Maybe it's too early to ask, but I thought I'd go to ask you also about the upcoming CryptoCon. I was wondering if there's anything you could share with that yet, or you guys are still in the works of getting that.
Yeah, we're still working on it right now, but as soon as we get something going, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right, not a problem. Yeah, I was just curious to see if there was anything you could share publicly. Because I got a few things I'm working on. I finally got the image I needed from Marcilla, so that way I could start putting together. I was actually already starting to work on something on my end. I was playing around with the app I have on my phone, putting different images together, kind of getting a general idea. But once I get onto the actual app where the program where you create the banners and stuff, it'll be a lot better. I'll know more by then. So, before I go any further, let me read something real quick. No, hold on. Geraldine Z said, quick question. Has anyone seen Bigfoot Girl on Amazon Prime? Then Thomas Sewitt had some interesting things. I'm not familiar with that. I know who Thomas is, but
I do too, but I've not heard anything like that going on with him.
Yeah, because there's so many people out there in the Bigfoot community. It's hard for me to keep up with everybody. That's it's like if somebody presents something to me, I'll look at it when I get a chance. But I don't find myself going out of the way to look at every little thing to kind of stay on top of everything because that would drive anybody mentally insane to try to with everything that's out there. I mean, I come across a lot just by browsing, but so Karen Tompkins says, "Hey Daniel, looking forward to seeing you at the South Carolina Bigfoot Festival in October." Yes, indeed. Last year was awesome. So yeah, we got a lot going on this year too. and I haven't even promoted. I usually do it on the beginning of the show, but yeah, um, there's a lot going on this year with a lot of people and several kinds of conventions, including the Virginia Bigfoot Conference, June 27th and June 28th. And also, I just got added to a local event. It's actually part of it's called Paravation. Or yeah, I think it's called Paravation.org is their website. But it's actually about an hour north of me in Strasburg, Virginia. I got added on as a Bigfoot speaker. It's a big paranormal event, but they do have a couple Bigfoot speakers there. For those who know Steve Culls from New York, Steve Culls will be there. And there's one other individual, Kenny Hall. I've actually been in communication with him. He will be there. Um, and there's a bunch of others I really.
We lost you, Dan.
Oh, yep, audio.
All right, anything now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know what the deal is with that. Testing out this new. It's probably just maybe it's junk. I don't know. Anyway, all right. As long as you guys can hear me, that's cool. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on this year, different events. A lot to look forward to. And as Jimmy gets through, he will be sharing more information with us in the future. So, Ray said, "Hi, that conference sounds awesome." Yeah, the paranormal event, that's going to be awesome. The Virginia Bigfoot Conference. Yeah, actually, let me see some to give you guys some information. Let me see if I know I still have it on here. I'm pretty sure I got the flyer. There we go, right there. I'm sorry, I'm blocking Jimmy. So yeah, June 27th and June 28th is happening in Wares Cave, Virginia, at the Wares Cave Community Center. So, yeah, that's happening in June 27th, June 28th. What I need to do is upload the other events that's going on up along the East Coast here, because South Carolina Bigfoot Festival, October 24th. The Western North Carolina Bigfoot Festival, which is the one happening in Marion, North Carolina. That is September 18th and 19th. And we know that Jimmy's event is September 5th. And the paranormal event here in Strasburg, Virginia, that is actually happening. Oh, man. I'm going to test my memory here because I have nothing to look at right now. It's April. Yes, it's April 18th, I think. I know it's in the month of April. That's all I can say right now. Trying to scan through, see if I can look it up really quick. Okay, maybe I'll get back. I'll get back to everybody on that. Oh, wait a minute. I might have it here. Just bear with me. There we go. Let me click on the link here.
Sound like it a little bit, didn't it?
All right, yeah.
At least we have it on the camera live.
Yeah, the paranormal event happening in Strasburg, Virginia. That is April 25th and 26th. And now they have a VIP party Friday the 24th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is at the historic Box Off Brewery. Cool. You can learn if you guys want to learn more information about this. Again, go to paravation.org. It's all one word. PARAVATION.org. And again, this is all this is taking place at the Strasbourg Historical Center, I believe it's called. Yeah, it's the Strasbourg Historical Preservation, but there's some history there, and they're actually going to be doing some investigations there, both Saturday night and Sunday night. So, and they asked me if I wanted to be part of one of the investigations. I said I told them put me down for Saturday. I don't know for sure right now because they put me on the speaker spot for their speakers happening on Sunday, which I'll be on Sunday spot at 11 a.m. So since it's only an hour north of me, I don't know if I'm going to just drive up there Saturday and back and forth. I'll probably just get up there very early on Sunday. So it's I got a little time yet, so I'll figure that out closer till the time. So 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 yeah, let me take this off.
Don't forget to plug your hats, dude.
Oh yes, yes. How could I forget that? See, I'm
Yeah.
forgetful about a lot of things. So yeah, the link. I was actually it may let me double check something. I had the link added on originally. For those who are watching from Facebook, if you guys go through my timeline, you could find the link to our hats. We have ECBRO team hats going on right now. It's through a fundraiser and only for about 4 weeks. And man, I was actually surprised. I think like 6 people jumped on them today, which was actually pretty cool.
I'm all about hats now. I like the color scheme, so I had to get them.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, I know. Like when I was trying to pick a decent style hat, and I wanted something. I didn't want to be like too original. I wanted to make it stand out a little bit. So, yeah, I like the color myself. Okay, cool. If you're viewing from YouTube, if you go into the description, the link is there to order the ECBRO hats. So take advantage of that. It's through the Custom Ink fundraiser that I designed the hats, and they're selling on Custom Ink. But jump on the link. The link is in the description if you're on YouTube. If you're a lot of you guys know from Facebook, it's on my timeline. It's been shared around, so definitely take advantage of that. Dinobot, I see you on the live chat. Make sure you buy yourself a hat. If you don't have money, get your mom or dad to buy you one. Let's see what else we got. Just watched last night. Okay. Let's see. Let me see what Dinobot says here. He says, "Hey, just got done talking to my friend about making a spin-off of the Jurassic Park movies that will take place between the second and third movie. What did I miss? Okay. All right, that's confusing. I don't know. What did we miss?
He just asked me, what does he miss so far? That's all.
Oh yeah.
He was just opining a bit. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do we got here? Not much. Just get ready to do some. I'm reading some comments real quick here. Make sure I'm not missing nothing here. All right. So I tell you what. One of the things we're going to get into. Well, thanks to Pat, we're going to talk about dogs and Bigfoot. But before we get into that, I've been seeing some posts lately about Bigfoot hair. There's been discussions about Bigfoot hair, and the rumor or the theory of Bigfoot hair being or considered translucent. I don't know. Have you guys heard that before?
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos.
Yeah, there's one going around now. I got into watching, but I have seen bits and pieces of it in the past. But I've been seeing. I watched a little bit of it today, briefly while I had a little bit of time, and part of it was M.K. Davis. He actually, in the palm of his hands, he had what it looked like, as he referred to it, as tufts of hair. but it looked like hairballs that got coughed up or something, Then again, it could have been just part of natted hair, that was tangled in, that came ripped off or got snagged somewhere or whatever it may have been. Now, if that is Bigfoot hair, if anyone knows what I'm referring to in this video clip, looking at it, it looks like it can be human hair. It really does. Now, because even primates, that's one thing I looked at when it comes to non-human primates, like gorillas, for example, even chimpanzees. A lot of their hairs actually identify or almost look similar to ours. So I don't know. But the reason behind the video footage, because the name of the title actually included cloaking. Now,
right.
I personally don't believe in cloaking as how people are putting it. Because a lot of people that believe in cloaking, they're talking around the aspect of look at Predator. The alien, that's cloaking to them. And in my honest opinion, and again, sometimes I try to reword this different sometimes because I try not to sound like a broken record because I like to compare our non-human primates like gorillas. I'm going to use gorillas. I use them a lot in different illustrations. And Jane Goodall and and these conservationists and these other primatologists who habituate and have these physical encounters with them, how they can normally just easily disappear and blend into their natural environment and still be within feet away from you. Well, all right. I'm losing my train of thought. I forgot where I was going with it.
That would be. I would say that meets the definition of cloaking, like you said, naturally.
Well, yeah, because have you ever walked through the woods and then didn't see a deer, but till the last minute, and like I've spooked up deer numerous times and never knew they were there because depends on the time of year, and that plays a key role. The time of year, and I've actually been surprised that I didn't see the deer sooner. Here's another example about how well a lot of these animals blend in their own natural environment. And again, talking about deer, I was driving through my research area, and going around the windy roads and through the mountains, and I'm constantly looking. I'm looking to the sides, and I got hills. I'm looking straight up, and just seeing something exciting, like a Bigfoot. Well, I'm riding along, and then something made me stop. I don't know why I stopped, because I guess in my mind, there was something there. And I'm staring up there. I said, what the heck is up there? And I'm steadily staring, and I'm staring. And all of a sudden, you get that little flicker of a tail or an ear. And all of a sudden, the whole image comes clear. There was like a whole bunch of deer. Yeah, there was a whole cluster of deer in one spot. They never moved for the longest. They stayed dead still. And I'm looking right up there and never saw them until that flicker. Once that flicker of that ear and that tail, like it kind of like their existence like was revealed. I was like, wow, and it's something incredible as something like a deer. So in my honest opinion, I really do believe that Bigfoot blends in and hides naturally, just like that. I've often questioned myself, how many times have I been in the woods and a Bigfoot could have been right there? I know I've heard of stories where people actually had encounters so close, within feet away, and it was kind of an accident. Really, it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You guys hear of any interesting situations like that? As far as if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, the predator, what we would call the predator effect, which is from the movie Predator,
right?
Is it's been reported in encounters, a certain amount of times. It's not. It's certainly not the vast majority of encounters, but sometimes people say it was like that. You know, and so honestly, we don't really have a lot to go off of. You know, people can be easily misinterpreting what they're seeing, or they could be in shock. You know, I mean, who knows? Or they could be looking at what's up, Kelly? They could be looking at something that's actually has that kind of cloaking technology or abilities, if you will. You know, the thing is that we don't really know because well, we have no specimen to study, right? But you know, I think that the whole translucent hair thing that MK was talking about, and it was, I believe, it was Matthew Knapp made a real good point on that. And I'm no expert when it comes to hairs or anything, but basically, he made the case that you know polar bears have similar hairs that are what we would call translucent, and they appear white to our eyes, and for something to go sort of predator, you know, cloaking would require all the hairs to be in perfect unison with the light at one time, and that's just not realistic. And so, in other words, a polar bear kind of debunks that whole theory, basically, as far as what we know about hairs on any animal that lives on this planet.
Yeah, I agree. The pigmentation on a hair like that would have to be totally clear, see-through, for the light to refract off of those goggles. I mean, I don't see it myself, and I've never come across a situation like that. But I'm like Dan. I do believe that if they're still long enough, you will walk right by one and not even know it's there. There's been plenty of instances, witness reports that I've taken personally around here in my area that people claim that they walk by one, get 50 foot, and then hear it behind them and turn around and he's just trotting down the trail, you know, and it does happen.
Well, here's another situation too. Actually, you just reminded me, Jimmy. You talking about walking down a trail and having something happen. Well, one incident. Now, let me. I want to be careful how I present this because I was deep on a trail. I wasn't alone. I had a friend with me, and at the time, I had an old cheap camera phone. It was a smartphone, but it was a cheaper one than what I have now. This was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And like I said, I've actually talked about this not long ago, but we took notice of something while we were down on the trail. You know, there's a lot of thick mountain laurel and a lot of debris. As the further you get down on this trail, it gets thicker and thicker, and the trail gets tighter and tighter till you come out to the creek. Well, we're so far down on this trail, and we're looking up across on through the thick debris where it starts to go uphill, and something caught our attention. And we're looking at something, and I pull the camera out, you know, the camera phone, and I do a zoom in. You know how you zoom in on a phone, you got to open up the image with your fingers. Well, of course, you know, I didn't want to do too much because I noticed as I was zooming in, it got blurrier and blurrier, and I was like, well, I don't want to mess it up too much. I wanted enough to catch whatever I was seeing, and I actually do have this on camera. I do have a video of this. I'll have to look it up. But whatever we were viewing, it was very inconclusive. Because you know it was black, it was dark, and whatever it was, you could see it moving. What we believe to be a head that bobbed up and down. You could see it shifting around in the behind the foliage and in the bush it was in. And since we weren't able to make out what it was, you know, I just at that point I ruled out it's probably just a small bear in the distance playing on the hill there. So we left that area and continued going further up the trail. Of course, as we approached the trail, you know, where the creek was, you have to cross the creek in order to continue where the trail goes. So we did. The water level was down. The creek wasn't about, you know, the creek's only about maybe 10 feet wide, if that, and depends on, you know, sometimes you could easily step across the stones. But at the time the water was low enough where you could usually step on some stones to get to the other side. But as soon as we got to the other side, it started in on that trail. We just started in. We're taking our time. Then next, from out of nowhere, this big stone lands right next to us on the edge of just on the outside of the trail by where the creek was. Hit on the side of on the embankment, and then you hear it roll down and boom. And as soon as that happened, we both came out to try to see where it came from. And we're looking across from where we just came. Again, keep in mind this mountain laurel is thick. You can't see anything. Anything that was, even if I was over there standing in there, anybody from the other side would not be able to see me. So we're looking and not seeing nothing. I mean, they could be just inside, just inside the bushes there, But we're not knowing it because they're naturally, they're just the way they are. So, but we did hear it somewhere in the background. There was like a whoop kind of sound, I got to thinking. I said, maybe that wasn't a bear. I mean, a bear ain't gonna throw a big rock at you, And of course, I come to the conclusion. I like to believe that there was more than one in there, and that they were more or less telling us to stay away, or whatever, part of their intimidation. So
Big possibility.
Yeah,
I'd say probably a big possibility that's what was going on. You just walked into an area where there was multiple, and they're trying to distract you more or less. Divert your attention one direction while some get away, because that's a common sense type of tactic. Even with certain animals, they do the same thing.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
if they're young.
Well, here's the interesting thing too, because after we didn't see nothing, we kind of more or less ignored it. We weren't picking up on nothing. We weren't seeing nothing after that, so we continued up the trail. The trail didn't go much. I mean, it goes up a little further, and it goes into an opening there. And of course, if you know where to go, the trail will narrow back down and continue further out. Well, anyway, at the time, I had the friend that I had with me, a lady friend I had at the time. I was like, there's other ways to get out of there, but I wouldn't take a girl through some. I know that area. The only way to get out with easy access was to go back out on the trail. So, yeah, when we left back out, we were more on alert, you could say, kind of like, yeah. I mean, but nothing else happened. We didn't experience nothing else after that. But the whole point behind that is thinking about where they were in the general location, how thick it is in there, with the mountain laurel and all the foliage and everything else. So, I often think of those little situations, where they could easily just be right there and we don't know it. It's comparing back to Jane Goodall when she's observing. It doesn't have to be Jane Goodall, but I like to use her because everybody knows about Jane Goodall. But when she's out there in the jungle with the mountain gorillas or whatever, and experiencing them, just taking a few steps behind the foliage, and it look like they're totally gone.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that way. When it comes to Sasquatch activity and them being in their own natural environment, which is nature, the woods, So, and hold on, Marcella is on here. Let's pull up her comment. She said, "I do that too, Jimmy. When we are out investigating, I throw something to get his attention so I could do that, but do what I want to do."
Oh Lord. It's like a never ending cycle with Marcella. She always has something smart to say.
Oh, check this out what Jen Cruz said, because me and her were chatting on the Facebook Messenger earlier. She said, "What's the topic tonight?" And this is what I told her.
That's funny. Yeah. He only uses a certain brand of pine cones, though. He don't like to use anything other but pine cones.
Oh my. We could talk about that too. I mean, we kind of did last time when Kelly was on here.
Yeah, we did actually. He sort of explained it from his observation.
Right.
He did. Yeah.
Actually, Kelly, I think you got yourself muted. If you want to jump in, unmute yourself. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question as we kind of get into our next topic. Um, I do recall you made. I think you made mention during your experience. You said there was you had a dog, but your dog was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was your dog afraid to approach that area or where the Bigfoot was? Oh, hold on, you're still muted. Let me try.
Yeah,
Let me
you muted. Buddy.
hold on. Let me try to get you unmuted. Why isn't it? Oh, well, no, I thought I almost had it. Oh, is it? I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself from your end because you got it muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have it on mute or something, Kelly.
You got to click on. Look at your little.
Okay, I got it. Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
sorry.
There you go.
That's all right. I got.
Sorry, I'm late. I was sitting here watching the wrestling, old Ric Flair from '86, and fell asleep. And I'm like, oh God, it's almost 9:30. Let me get up here, you know. So, what was the question, Daniel?
About your dog. Did you have your dog with you?
You know, I had a German Shepherd wolf mix named Shane, and he would never go. He would never follow me down there. He followed me every other way, but down Riddle Road he wouldn't go. Yeah, and he always when I come up to the house, he would like sniff at me and just stare at me, kind of weird. It's like he knew the smell. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, dogs do have a keen sense of smell.
Mm-hmm.
And they can pick up long distance.
I always tried to bring him down there one time with a leash, and he wouldn't do it. He fought, so he didn't like going down to that junkyard. Anywhere back there in the field behind the house, he would go. He'd go to the front of the yard, down the street, but as far back there in the woods, he wouldn't go.
Kelly, did you ever see a dog around the junkyard?
Never. There's a lot of animal bones, and I guess there used to be cats around there, wild feral cats, but I see them one day, and then the next day I wouldn't see them. So, yeah.
Okay, but never a dog.
Never dogs. Never. When the dogs would bark in the background or something, but I hear him howling and barking with the ambulances or whatever, sirens, and I was in the junkyard, he would Stinky would look around, but he would never, he just, listen, I guess, more or less. He was in tune to noises and sounds, but like I said, when it was real noises, when he would move.
Kelly, by any chance, would you happen to have a set of earbuds or anything?
Maybe just turn the volume down a little bit.
Let me see.
Yeah, because I'm hearing myself repeat.
How about
now? Testing.
Check.
Yeah, I can still hear myself.
It's better though.
How about now?
Testing.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like feedback almost, or negative.
No, actually, I tell you what. No, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll keep you muted till just wave your hand or something if you want to share something. Yeah.
All right.
All right. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, Jen Cruz from the She Squatchers referred to the question about the Bigfoot wiping their butts. She said, "I'm on the edge of my seat. Inquiring minds want to know."
Again, as funny as that is, Kelly actually addressed that through his observation and by saying that they Stinky, if you will, he rolled around in the mud and the dirt after he had pooped in a hole. He buried his scat and then rolled around in the dirt and the mud, to kind of clean himself off. Kelly, he said that Stinky didn't like to go in the water per se, but the mud was good enough. So that's what he said.
Well, mud is, it especially depends on the time of year. It's nice and cool. a lot of animals out in Africa in the jungle, even cows. Well, I can't really say cows, but yeah. Then again, yes. Sometimes anything that's cool that will cool them off too. Um,
Yeah.
so, and then again, there's a lot of primates that don't like water. Then again, you got some that actually go into water. More of your smaller primates. Some of them, there's, for those who don't know, there is actually primates that go underneath the water to swim. Again, back to your smaller primates. But interesting. Pat, I wanted to ask you because you made mention, and this is what brought it up. You had your little dog with you, and you made mention that your little dog is scared of them. I was wondering if you could make mention of that, or explain more.
No, you misheard what I said.
Oh, he hates them or doesn't like them.
Yeah, I said she killed 2 of them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
definitely explain.
It was a joke. We weren't on air yet, dude. I was just goofing off with you. Minnie, come here.
Oh,
Come here. Hold on. No, so I did have a dog with me. My dog, Minnie, come. I had her with me. She's a half Chihuahua breed, and I had her with me in my wood knock encounter, which lasted, a good half an hour of wood knocks. It was creepy, but she was unfazed by it. Like she was completely unfazed. She wasn't scared. She never acted any differently than she ever acts that whole day. And some other weird things happened that day, but yeah. So yeah, my dog was completely unfazed by what I'm pretty sure was a Bigfoot out in the woods, banging on trees for a good half an hour at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let me ask you guys all this here because here's something that comes to mind that I heard. I've heard these rumors from an individual who said that he supposedly has either seen it or has spoken to other hunters who let their dogs, that run their dogs out in the woods, where their dogs would go missing, or all they would find is their collars, or sometimes it's been known that the dogs would run back to the owners, scared, with their tails between their legs and blah blah, doesn't want to leave the vehicle, you know, and they relate this to Bigfoot activity. Now, that again, keep in mind, it's just what I heard, secondhand information that was shared to me some time ago. But here I'm thinking these same type of dogs that either hunt bear, also mountain lion, because a lot of these dogs, especially when they have more than one, they're pretty brave. They're pretty tough. I mean, I've seen friends of mine post their videos with their dogs cornering a bear. I've seen other hunting videos of dogs treeing a mountain lion.
Yeah, or wild boar.
Yeah, exactly. And these are pretty fierce animals. Yep. So, I mean, I walked through the woods while hunters had their dogs out roaming the woods. I actually had hunting dogs kind of come up to me. You knew the hunt dogs because they had that electronic collar, that bright orange collar with the box on the corner.
Yeah.
Well, and most of the time that was usually during like when they trained their dogs and stuff. But my point is, do you really think dogs are scared of a Bigfoot? I mean, I guess they can be, right? But
they should be.
I'm looking at it as, and like I made mention about the bears and the other wild animals that they normally corner and go after. What would it be about the Bigfoot that's intimidating and that scares them?
Could be size, could be something a scent that they give off. It could be a multitude of things. We'll never really know, tell you the truth. But since you mentioned that, a good friend of mine, Thomas Markham, who's also going to be speaking at the Virginia Bigfoot Conference,
Oh
has
yeah.
an interview up on his cryptocrew.com page of a guy who had an eyewitness sighting of a Bigfoot killing one of his beagle hunting dogs.
Wait, I think I heard you correctly. Say that again.
It's on. I think it's. He might still have it up. It was been a couple years back. Thomas done an interview with a gentleman who physically witnessed a Bigfoot kill one of his beagle hunting dogs.
Oh wow.
It's a crazy interview, and you could tell the guy was shook up when he was talking about it because he had to take a couple seconds to composure himself because he put a lot of time and was attached to his dogs, and you could tell it bothered him. But I'm pretty sure he still got it up there on it. Next time you talk to him, Dan, ask him about that and have him to send you the link to that.
Yeah.
It's
that's crazy.
Crazy story.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know how you witness that, man, and not just start lighting that thing up. I mean, I just wouldn't care at that point.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he might have. I know he was very, very upset and angry, but scared all at the same time because he seen this thing and actually witnessed it killing his dog.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good reason to shoot one. I mean,
no doubt.
Yeah.
And on a serious note, but yet kind of being funny at the same time, I kind of wouldn't it be cool if Bigfoot was like Harry and the Hendersons? Was very caring about other animals instead of wanting to kill them.
Yeah. It's like,
a little dog, yeah.
Like a little Chihuahua tucked up underneath his armpit, just petting on his walking through the woods.
Yeah, petting him like,
yeah.
Oh man.
They gotta eat, right? I mean, I'm sure they're no strangers to killing animals.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to eat.
Now, supposedly there's been reports where people, eyewitnesses that actually have seen them with deer, with deer in their possession.
Yeah.
For example, I can recall an episode from Finding Bigfoot. Supposedly, the eyewitness saw a Bigfoot with a deer carrying off a deer underneath his arm. And the other thing too, I think about. Well, I made mention of my encounters. Like I said, there was deer involved right before having the encounter.
Right.
Yeah. Within so many feet, roughly. And I still think about that. I really do. Is that a coincidence, or was something about to happen before we got there? Did I disrupt something? Did we disrupt something in 2014? Because that deer was just, even though it was dark out, I mean, the deer was like just nonchalantly taking his time. Even with us there, that deer was not spooked for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That deer should have jetted off. We were very close to that deer. But I don't know. It's interesting. I think about that a lot. So.
Yeah. I mean, a dog should be afraid of Bigfoot if you think about it. I mean, when you're walking through the woods, if you're walking through the woods and, out from behind a tree stepped out an 8-foot tall, 500-pound thing that you've never seen before, it scared the hell out of you and me.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Of course it's going to scare a dog. I mean, and not to mention the smell factor, and unfamiliar smell factor. So I don't think there's anything particularly interesting about dogs being afraid of a Bigfoot. In fact, they should be.
Yeah.
They're very intimidating things, evidently, from what we know.
Well, yeah, because
let's let Kelly chime in on this and see what he has to say about it.
All right, yeah. Let me go ahead unmute him real quick.
I want to say, can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
I got my headphones on.
I see that.
So when I seen the ones in Jubilee Land down at Falls Lake last year, the year before last, and A couple of times years before that, when I'd see them on occasion, I would see deer too them days. Either before going there or after. I would see deer. And the times I didn't see the creatures I wouldn't see no deer. And one thing I wanted to add about Stinky was he used to take pine straw, and I know pine cones and pine straw has that sticky stuff on it, that resin, and he would rub it all on his fur, on his body. That's what he would do. He would rub pine straw all over himself. I don't know what for, but I want to tell you guys about that.
Interesting.
And he would eat. He would like gnaw on the pine stuff too. He would put it in his mouth. I don't even see him swallow it, but he would chew it.
Well, there is seeds in that. I have actually come across pine cones that have been eaten away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know for a fact that squirrels will eat them. I think bears have been known to eat it because there is seeds. There's protein in that too. So
yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I went fishing year before last when I seen them with screaming at me. Last year I seen the real big one across from the when I was down there at Falls Lake on the pier. I looked across, I seen the real big one going up the hill. But when I seen them screaming at me, throwing crap at me and dirt at me, that one took all my fish. I had like probably 15 fish in the bucket. When I got like an hour later to get my fishing stuff was all there, I was thrown on the ground. The fish were gone. Everything was there but the fish. Catfish.
That right there.
All the fish were gone.
That would make me unload a clipping one right there, taking my fish. I would be upset.
It was as far as like 10 feet and he buried it. This looked more like a baboon or more like an ape. He looked more like an ape. I don't know. This is a young one. And he was said, screaming at me, throwing, just slinging at me. And I went one way and he went the other. He went down the shoreline, I guess. I don't know if he went in the water, but I went up there to my mama's truck. Like 5 minutes, I was up that. My big self was up there in the truck, waiting, where the camping ground was. Because the campground was about 20 minutes from the lake, walking down the path. I've been wanting to go out there recently, but I haven't about it to go out there, on drive. But it's been real cold here. It snowed like last week. Kind of, it's all melting now, but it's good and cold out there, and I think it'd be a good time to go out there. And I have a feeling I could probably see some or get some like maybe the blobs on film, like I told you about last year, spring. I was with my goddaughter down Penny's Bend at the end of the river down what they call Old Roxton Highway, and between Durham and Granville County, and that's when she was walking, taking a video, of the woods, and she likes tree hugging and stuff, and she's very into that, I guess shamanism, spiritual like that with nature. And it showed what looked like when she walked past a little chimpanzee sitting there. To me, it looked like a chimpanzee baby sitting there on the side, and you see these little blobs and one big white blob opposite the river up there. Just crouched down here. And I heard it to her, and it freaked her out. She said she felt like she heard something growl at her, and she was getting ready to go back there toward there was an old or something, and old barn up there used to be a liquor store back in the 60s and 70s, and she's getting ready to walk up there toward the barn and see what it would look like up that way with the property was. And she said she went that way. She heard something like, "Grrr," and she turned around. That's when she came back where I was fishing down there. Like I was by the boat ramp. But I think it would be. I have a certain feeling, and when I have these feelings that I might see one or get some kind of a video with at least noise or wood knocks and whatnot. It seems like it's like they pick you. They pick who they want to see them. I know they're intelligent. I believe they're spiritual beings, and I think that that they pick who they want to see. I don't know why, but I think they know our intentions. Like a dog or cat or animal, if it thinks you're gonna hurt it, it's gonna bite you, sting you, and get defensive. And I think they have a sense of knowing your vibe, what your intentions are. And I just feeling now, if I would someone to go out there in the woods, I'd probably see them because I know 3 or 4 places right around here, 10 minutes away. I could go find them, and I know they would be there.
Really?
It's kind of like that show. I watched a movie last night called Letters from the Big Man. It was a good movie. I liked it. It's pretty good. And
I've heard that's a good movie. I have yet to see that. I have not seen it yet.
She was gonna go walk in the end. She was gonna walk like a year in the woods. Told the guy that ran a logging thing or whatever. He was a friend of her old guy that ran the logging company or whatever. She said, I'm gonna be gone for a year. If I don't come publish my works, which was all drawings of her and the big man, and she's feeding food at the cabin. And she was walking up the hill and had a straw or something in his mouth sitting there waiting on her, and she was at the bottom of the mountain coming up, and it's like they expect you, you know, if you see them, you know. It's like they know you, you know. I don't know. Explain it, but that's the feeling I have.
Yeah, well, I would say they're a lot like dogs. You know, they would sense how a person's going to be. I could see that.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense.
I've only had one aggressive encounter, and that was the one that was throwing feces at me and dirt at me if I was late. That was the only time I've had one aggressive with me. I've had a couple throwing rocks at me. Me and my buddy Curtis was down there in Kinley fishing by the little river down there. They called it the BN. It was like the BN2 or the S curve they called it. And way out in the country, Johnson County, and that's we see eyes shine and rocks being thrown at us, but we just thought, well, you know, is somebody playing a trick or it's Bigfoot, you know? And I told my friend it was Bigfoot. He said everything's only this. I said, well, what is throwing rocks at us 15 miles in the middle of nowhere beside this river, you know, throwing rocks through the woods across the creek at us, you know?
Exactly.
And he was like, well, let's get out of here, kid. It's time for 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's go, you know? And every time that happened, every time it'd be like deer around or some wildlife, you know, owls hooting or birds or deer. It'll always be animals around.
Yeah, this experience here? How long ago was this?
Oh, this was Little River in Kinley was like back in early 2000s when I was married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was married in my early 2000s too.
I was married for 14 years, and but it didn't work out. So we're friends, and she's going to get remarried again. And I wish her the best of luck. And I'm glad to be a free man again, a free agent, especially losing the 700 pounds that I carried around for 10 years. You know, I'm not bedridden anymore. I'm down. Last month I was 445, and this month I'm 401. So I get this hernia taken out of my stomach. I'll be smaller. So I want to get out there though in the woods, man, as soon as possible. And I wish I knew someone around here, people around here that was interested. Most people that live by Falls Lake and Jordan Lake in these areas, waterways and stuff, and Butner and Stem, that's like the country area, Hillsboro, Roxborough, that's the country area here, Bahama. They're like, it ain't nothing to talk about. Like, oh, they just keep your light on in the backyard at night and keep them away. You know, don't feed them, you know. Like they're there, but you know, talk about it. I'm like, wow, really?
Some people don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I went inside the little shop up there. It's a little, I think it's they call it the Capitol store. It's got like an American flag. You know, it has a little country biscuits and stuff like that. And they sell live bait and tackle and hunting stuff there as well. And a little tackle place. And I went in there and asked him, I said, well, what's the thing about it when I first went there? I said, what's the thing about it? It's like 4 years ago. I said, what's the thing about that? You hear about Bigfoot or anything? So that's what, oh, man, we just don't talk about that. You know, you want to see them going out into the lake, you know, but be careful. You better have your rifle with you.
Yeah.
That's what they say usually. So,
quick question for you, Kelly. I know in North Carolina you have the if I'm saying it right, unworried.
You are a forest. I think that's not the holler. That's like toward the coast from here. I think for me, I think it's between the coast and the mountains. I can't think of where, but it's probably like 2 hours from me, or an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, besides that forest, yeah, I know. I think I kind of asked you this before, but I'm trying to get a general, kind of more of a mindset or a vision of the general rough layout, like how close to any nearest forest or park would be close to you?
Oh man, that would be like Game Land, I guess, or Pee-wee's Bend in the Eno, which is 10 minutes away. That's a nature preserve. Falls Lake is all game land.
Oh yeah.
But see, between here
Nice.
and the beach, the coast is like, I guess, 2.5 hours. But there's a stretch of road that's like an hour and a half long with no towns or nothing, just swamp. From here, I think it's like around.
Yeah.
It's between Kinston. It's where the Great Intercoastal Waterway is. That's like nothing but swamps down there, and they have Bigfoot signs down there on the
Oh
side of the
yeah.
highway. People
The
don't like riding
Dismal
to the
Swamp.
beach late at night down there. You know, real fast. They like kind of get them down the road when you go down the highway. Like I went ride with my family. My dad was like, he didn't want to stop at the rest areas in that way. It's like 3.5 hours to get there. Down it's like Highway 70 East, and my dad always flew down that highway. He didn't like stopping, and if we took on the side of the road, oh, it's a bear, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
And they have Bigfoot crossings down there too in Kinston.
I definitely believe that because, well, you mentioned the swamp, which is actually that swamp connects into Virginia.
Yeah.
Which is the Dismal Swamp, the Great Dismal Swamp.
Yeah.
And like you also mentioned the great.
I would love to get there.
Yeah, the international waterway.
They have a lot of shrimpers down there, like shrimp boats and fishermen and stuff. And people go down there pig hunting. It could be a big black bear population down there too, and Greenwood and Kinston.
Well, I know back when I went to Littleton, I was headed down to Littleton, North Carolina, this past year when I was going down to the Bigfoot in the Park event out there and at Medoc Mountain State Park.
Oh.
Yeah, I was headed down Interstate 95, and I had just got through the city, and I'm driving down another half hour or so down past the city of Richmond, and I'm headed down 95, and I'm noticing, it's been a long time since I've been on that part of 95, and I'm noticing, and there's a lot of woods around here, but I'm not really thinking much of it. Well, as I was driving, I approached this one area where there was a lot of these trucks, these roadside trucks that had their flashing lights on. Then I see a couple police cars up ahead approaching this exit. And, we all, it was at that point, there was only 2-lane traffic. And we all had to get over to 1 lane. And so traffic was going slow, and I had a opportunity. I just happened to turn my head to the right to see what was going on. I thought maybe there was an accident, but there was no ambulance around. And the police were talking to somebody in a SUV, like a big Chevy Suburban or something, you got the exit ramp that split off like this, and right between where the main highway was and the exit ramp splitting off right there. There was kind of like that little section right there that a vehicle was parked off the side. And like I said, it didn't look like there was no accident. But when I looked over in the middle of the road, going, right there where it merges off, going to the exit, there was something on the ground that was covered up in a yellow blanket.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah,
I Googled that too. I Googled it. They said it was a bear or a deer.
Well,
that's what they said, say bear or a deer. So.
Well, because, the thing is, it was awful strange because it couldn't have been a bear because it was brown. I know we don't have no brown, and it looked awful strange the way I saw whatever brown hanging out. And here's the other thing too. There was a swamp on the other side. I wasn't aware of that until I came back up that way. And the other thing is, I went online. There's actually you could look up at different reports for highway incidents and everything.
DOT,
and I memorized that exit number. I knew exactly where I was because I paid attention. I tried to look around as I was driving. When I had coming back from North Carolina. So I made some mental notes of the area, and then I tried to do some digging. But because you can look up, there's all these different accident reports from all these different areas in the surrounding area, but there was nothing in that area. That's what got me. There was nothing in that particular area, and yeah, I was like, they got reports of everything else that happens on the road up and down this area. So, but this exit, this specific exit, there was no report of what happened there or what that was, because I've also was told, yeah, if it was a deer, they would, if it was any known animal, they have no reason to be covering it up. I know a former police officer told me that. He said, yeah, they would have had, if that was a human, they wouldn't have had it just covered up in a blanket. They would have had that barricaded, people surrounding it, blah blah blah. But it was just something strange about that, because, like I said, even whatever was sticking out from that blanket didn't look human to me. I don't know. It was very strange.
That area between Highway, I know that 95 runs through Falls Lake where I had the.
Oh yeah.
And 85, actually 85, 70, and 95 runs by here where I live. All crisscross. You're talking about is considered to be from here to Raleigh on up towards Virginia. In Richmond, it's called the Neuse River Basin. It's all swamplands and wetlands up there.
Oh yeah,
that's what we have a lot around here. And there's a lot of caves in that area too, and everywhere in the Neuse River Basin's caves, because Falls Lake has caves all around it, and so does But at the bomb shelters, like they say that the government and Duke University has underground. I know they have an underground train system they use from Duke Hospital, from one hospital to the other hospital, Durham Regional. It could be possible they could be in caves too. I know that when I was looking at these researchers channels, like I watched Tracy with Sasquatch Outlaw, and I watched Cascade Bigfoot when he was coming on Mark, and a couple of other shows. They would all like. I would be like one to look up at the trees, and one guy, Alabama Bigfoot, Jonathan Odom, I think is his name, and I watch those, and I'm always like wondering, why don't they look in the trees? Because I know they stinky, scaly, fast, and I think a lot of times they'd be hiding in the trees, especially the young ones.
Yeah, it's a good place to hide.
Absolutely, yeah. I find myself looking up in trees on occasions, just for whatever, you never know.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Bigfoot looking up at the trees, but you got to think of other, mountain lions. They're ambush predators, and or could there be a bear up in a tree? I've had bears up in the tree, come down and take off on me, but I didn't know they were up there. I was. For example, it was a small bear. But I was actually at a campsite talking to a couple campers, and what caught my attention was you could hear the bark and scuffling dropping out of a tree.
Yeah.
And you look over in that direction, and you're like, holy crap, Like, guys, look, it's a bear.
Yeah.
And you can see it is struggling to get down, and then all of a sudden, the last 4 or 5 feet, it drops out of the tree, and, boom, and then it jets off, But, so yeah, anytime I hear anything scuffling or I'm like, make sure it ain't coming after me, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Of course, a mountain lion is going to be quiet.
Yeah. Otherwise, we never think to look up into trees for large animals. That's just not natural instinct for human beings to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I could, in my honest opinion, I could see young squatches being in trees. But if we're, a lot of us, we believe or consider an adult Sasquatch, that's a lot of weight. Think about, like, when I was a kid, I remember for the longest time I used to love climbing trees. I used to climb a tree and try to see how high in that tree I could go. But I often, sometimes I think about that. It's like, if Sasquatch is 700 to 1,000 pounds, some of the trees that people claim they go in, like, are those limbs actually going to hold that weight?
Right. Yeah.
So that's just something I think about sometimes. I mean, but there's plenty of big trees for them to be in. I mean, like the big oak trees.
Yeah. Hard. Yeah.
Yeah, pine trees. I don't know. We got some really big pine trees, and of course, a lot of the big pine trees in the area. You look up the tree, you can see a lot of the limbs are just they're broke off. A lot of that's from actually a natural occurrence from other branches and stuff and weather. Then you got bears that like to climb those trees that'll cause havoc. But um, I don't know. Sometimes it makes me wonder if Sasquatch does climb some of those trees. But it would make a good vantage point to see the surrounding area.
Really,
So
yeah. What kind of tree did Stinky? What kind of tree did Stinky go up, Kelly?
Pine trees, oak trees, mostly pine trees. He would scale them with the bark and the limbs. He was real his arms, and his feet. His feet more like his hands, but he was very athletic. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
more limber than I was. So.
Yeah, I mean, humans can climb pine trees. Of course, it takes special boots and a rope.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen a human being scale up a pine tree, in 30 seconds.
His skin was real thick, like leather. It's just hard. The skin was real thick on his. I guess I didn't ever look at his feet. He was real funny about it. His skin didn't bother his. Like I told you, he was real funny about touching. But the skin right here in the dermal was real like padded and like leather, real thick. I think you have to really have a real sharp knife to cut it.
But he seemed real comfortable doing that, huh?
Yeah, he was like me as a kid, so
yeah.
And by himself, I guess maybe he lost his parents. I don't know. I know like I first moved there. I used to hear him in the woods. He used to get scared and call the watching Halloween. My mom and dad going to Halloween parties and leaving me there by myself in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And when we lived in a little farmhouse, and 2 years went by. I didn't hear a year or so. I didn't hear no noise. And that's when I think maybe 3 years going on, or 4 years. I went down to Riddle Road. That's when I seen him in the junkyard, and I never hear any more of the other ones. Screaming and hollering, and it's not like a lady screaming or a baby crying, and woo! And the neighbors were just old man that lived in the field and below me. He was real funny about people going on the site. I used to go on the field to catch praying mantises and baby rabbits in little rabbit holes or whatever. And lightning bugs. Put them in a jar, and he was real funny. He would threaten all his kids to stay away. He had like blackberry bushes and wild figs and fruit stuff around there. And he was so funny about his property and his vegetables and stuff. And I used to hear him that he in that woods right shoot you, And I asked him one time, I said, what did that make that noise back there? He said, you don't want to know. Get off my property. He was all everybody was scared of. Nobody went around him. The old woman was real. I think they reminded me of Ma and Pa Kettle. That's who Finally, their kids put them in a rest home. And died. Put the old man in a rest home, but and that place was vacant for like 5 years. But by that time, I'd moved away. But my mom and dad were still there. I wouldn't say with other family members. But
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I'd like to answer the She Squatchers question. I'll be there at the conference.
Oh yeah. Well, Jimmy disappeared, but yeah, Jimmy will be there, of course. And there he is.
Cool. Yeah, Jimmy's going to be there. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there with my girlfriend, Squatchbait, who you guys will meet very soon. Yeah.
Call it Squatchbait. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Oh, too, man. That's cool.
That's a Squatch World name, So, yeah, we'll both be there. Me and Squatchbait, and probably my buddy Ernie. And yeah, we look forward to it. So Jimmy's gonna be there. What about you, Kelly? You coming?
I'll have a ride. I wish there was more people in the area that was interested in this and want to talk about it and share, but nobody seems to, I guess, because, you know, I was like to turn my light off there for a second because there was a gunfight 2 streets over. I live on a high field in Durham, and I live in a 3-story building, good, and so I can see, you know, gunfights, people getting killed right outside, and I'm like looking down, and that's why I turned my light off there for a second, but I don't have a ride, and nobody's. See, that's why I wish there was people down here that was interested in doing that and that could ride with them or something, but I don't have any transportation to go up there, but I'd love to, though.
Well, we got time. We'll find you a ride, Kelly. We'll find you a ride.
I'd love to go out with you guys, man, squatching. You know what? I told Daniel a while, but I was moving to West Jefferson with a friend. That didn't work out too well. That, you know, that was kind of I was kind of let on with that situation. But anyway, I would give anything, man, to go live out in the middle of nowhere and be away from the city. I just, you know, hate the city, but because all the crime, you know, stuff going on around here. But yeah, if people were interested around here in doing that, that'd be cool. But nobody.
Yeah. Well, I know what's his name, Bobcat. Now he's coming all the way from Ohio, and he already looked into it, did some pricing. He already called up Greyhound because he said he normally takes Greyhound to go see his brother in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But from where he's at in Ohio to where the bus station would be closest to the venue, it's I forget how long it is, but he said it was only a little over $200. That's
The bus station and train station is like right down the street, right, probably 3 blocks from my apartment building. But my thing is finances, you know, fixed income and stuff, government subsidies. So
that's
until I get certified by the state being a PSS, like when I get the class to take the class for 4 weeks and get certified, then I'll be able to have a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right, Kelly. We'll figure out a way to get you there, man. I promise.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And go out and do some squash. You know, I love the outdoors, man.
You're not too far from what is it called? Wares? What is it called? Ware's Cabin? Ware County?
Are you talking about up here where I'm at?
Yeah.
Where's Cave? Where's Cave?
Where's Cave? Where's Cave?
Now check this out.
Yeah.
The name of the town. Yeah, the name of the town is called Ware's Cave. Now the next county just east of there is called Grottos. Now, for those who don't know, Grotto. Yeah, for those who don't know, you got keep in mind the name of the town where the venue's at is called Ware's Cave, and then just east of that is called Grottos. And then Grottos means it means caves. Yeah. Home of caves, whatever. So, and Grottos, that's actually there is a big cave structure system right there. It's called Grand Caverns. It's a tourist site, but which is really nice.
Virginia?
Yeah, it's in Virginia. Yeah,
I've seen the Grand Caves or something. I think I have the brochures. I stayed in before I moved here. I was in my mom put me in Red Roof Inn for like 4 months. She paid for that, and before I got the apartment here. And I remember seeing the brochures for Grand Caves in Virginia. Yeah, I used to look at the brochures a lot, wondering, you know.
Oh yeah, like from where I live right here. Well, Grand Caverns. That's actually basically almost dead center between where my parents live and where I live. So it's about 20 minutes from me. So yeah, give or take. Well, yeah, about 15, 20 minutes.
Don't they have the gold pen?
All right, hold on. Say that again. You broke up.
Don't they have a place down there in Grand Caverns where they pan for gold or something? A little place.
No, at the Grand Caverns at the they don't really pan for gold. They do have this setup to where you can shift and stuff to look for different.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
man, there's like 50 cops outside my window. Wow, ambulances came through. I get excitement here every night when I'm sitting here watching movies or watching my Bigfoot stuff, all out here. This is crazy.
I hope you're armed, man. I hope you're armed, and it sounds like you moved to a rural area.
I want to move, man, into the sticks. I want to get away from here. I don't like the city.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I've been around places like that before, man, years ago.
Yeah.
And now I live in a rural area. I'm so much happier, man.
Oh, wow.
For a second, I thought this girl right here, Ray. She says, "Good night, guys. Thanks for hosting." It's funny because she almost looks like my ex-wife, and my ex-wife's name is Rachel. That's why I thought Ray was short for Rachel. It almost looked just like her.
Wait, your ex-wife trolling you?
They're like, oh my God, flashbacks.
You never know. She only lives a couple hours east
more.
of me. So,
how y'all doing, guys?
All right.
Not too bad. We've been talking about some pretty interesting stuff.
Like what? Fill me in.
Well, how does Bigfoot wipe his butt after he poops? Or does he wipe his butt? Actually, we really did bring that up earlier.
We didn't.
But,
he wipes with his left and eats with his right.
Oh, look, Jen Cruz has got a question for you, Baltimore. Are you coming to the ECBR Virginia Bigfoot Con?
Not this year, and it's still early to tell. I probably might win the lottery tonight, and if that's the case, yes. So yeah, right now I'm trying to get everything ready for Jenna when she comes up here. We're trying to. It's going to be my birthday weekend when she shows up. So we're going to do some investigations and stuff like that to see what we come up with. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be there. Jimmy's going to be there, right?
Yeah, me and Marcella both will be there. So
right,
cool.
And we're all going to have to start a Kickstarter, but we'll figure out how to get Kelly there because. I'm sorry, Kelly's got to be there.
Yeah. But wait, guys, I want to go. How do I get there?
Dude, you are not allowed.
Oh, Lord.
You're just not allowed. Yeah.
Fine, I'll go. Baltimore, since they said I'm not allowed, I'll go camp out with Fred.
Hey, there you go.
Even weekend for you, bud. Yeah. It's okay.
I have a friend that's going to give me a tent, actually. A nice tent. I think he said the tent is like insulated and has a what's the thing called?
Like a canopy?
No, it's like a generator.
Hold on, you froze up.
You keep phrasing up, Kelly.
Oh, he's got a tent he's going to give me with a generator. It's got 3.
Oh, wow.
With, yeah, it's going to be June. So, yeah, it might be a little warm.
Yeah.
Hell, it's warm here.
It gets pretty warm up here.
It's cold here. I don't know if he's around. He's probably at the Duke Research Center downtown. There's a big old, it looks like one of those pyramids in Stargate, the gold pyramid downtown. It's actually the Duke University research thing, building. Everything the science people award for 6 months and gave me shock treatment and everything. But behind that, when I got out, the junkyard was cleaned up, a lot of it, and they had barbed wire fence around it. So,
did you tell them about Stinky and where he
was? I told, and I talked with the police, and they called some people in there from Raleigh. These guys with these suits on, and
hey, Kelly, I gotta,
they told me I didn't see nothing. They told me I'm imagining things. I was, I was loony. So.
Hey Kelly, I got a question to ask you, and it's been uh, baffling me for a while. And since we had our meetings here, since you first came on, can you tell us more about how the Bigfoot made the fire?
Well, he had the sticks, and the stick, he peeled the sticks off. I think it was the stick. I don't know what kind of sticks it was, but he really did a thing, and it sticks in there, and put the moss and the straw in there with the sparks, and it came up. That's all. I don't know how to do it, so I don't know.
So did
I didn't
so
really pay attention to how he did it. I just sit there and looked at him, and I just didn't really pay attention. I'm a kid. I don't know. So I don't know. He really took the sticks and he cut the bark off of them, and he just went like this with the other one, and it had like a little dent in it or something. He just rubbed it together and with a stick and the thing in the with a hole or something where he would have a ditch. I don't know. See, I didn't never pay attention to really how he did it, but he made fire.
now let me ask you this: and after he did the sparks, and
He
after
would
he
like
got
move the area, like he would clear the area was a lot more like dirt around. He knew to do that. He didn't make it where it would spread. He was like clear the area around it and put all the soil like one little pound, like a little like this, a little circular mound area, and just like that, he would blow on it, like that.
and let me ask you this: and after the fire was built, did he put any sticks or anything like that
Yeah,
in
he,
it,
he
or
would
just
put he would put bigger sticks in there and things. He didn't ever put no wood in there. It's just branches and little twigs. You take bigger twigs and put them in there. Yeah.
okay? And let me ask you this: after the fire, and I'm pretty sure that did he put the fire out, or did he
The
let it?
fire would eventually go out itself. I was there the whole day, and the fires wouldn't last that long. They would probably burn an hour, two, three, maybe it'd just be ashes. And he would sit there and inspect the stick and rub it in the ashes, and he didn't ever like put it out, but he would like rub the ashes and stir the ashes. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, I've never seen him try to put the fire out because it was cold that day, so he didn't seem to mind the cold. He actually seemed to like the cold. I don't know how, but
Oh, cool.
he just
Yeah.
didn't like rain. He didn't like rain. He didn't like
Really?
water.
When it rained, and what would he do when it
So,
started raining?
most of the time he would just stand up under the tree or under the car and just he would like shelter. I guess he'd say shelter. He would say somewhere where he wouldn't get too wet. Like his the hair. He didn't like getting it in his face too much. I don't know. He was funny about the water. He didn't like water. And he always could tell when it was going to rain too. It was like he could smell it. He knew when I think the weather changes and stuff like that. And I don't know. He was aware of stuff like that.
Now,
So
did anybody since this was a junkyard, did anybody ever show up at it
no, the
when the
man
both of
that
y'all were there?
had it back in the '60s, I think, for like 5 or 6 years, and he got shot. I think shot and killed or something. Something happened to the man when he didn't have it, and it went to waste. He was just sitting there. It's just a ugly spot in the woods beside the railroad track, and all these old derelict cars, rusted cars and stuff. No dogs, and like I said, wild cats, feral cats running around. And people would I think drop cats off there and stuff, but I never seen any dogs. But I know my dog wouldn't go down there. My dog didn't. He wouldn't go down Riddle Road or behind the house for that matter, which is facing Riddle Road.
Hmm.
Let's see.
And those grasshoppers, they're real big. I don't know what they call them, but locusts maybe with the real big, the big legs. He would take them
Mm-hmm.
and chew eat. And I used to, for a fact, when I was a kid, this is what he would do. He would take the grasshopper, the bottom part of it, the body, and the big legs, and eat it. He was like the meat. Was in the big part of the leg. He used to eat locusts. Well, I guess grasshoppers. He'd eat certain things, and some things he wouldn't eat. as far as bugs, and he didn't ever mess with frogs or toads or anything like that. But he would love bird eggs, robin eggs, little blue eggs in the bird nest around there in the bush or something. He'd go in there and get the eggs and suck to them, and then he'd eat the shell and all. So.
Hey, look, Ryan Reed said, "I'm watching, but I'm at a bar drunk."
Yeah, hashtag Dax.
Yeah.
Here's to you.
Wow.
Alrighty.
Hey, you're having a good time. Either way, right?
You know, technically, I could have done that tonight, but nah. I enjoy myself not having a life. I stay at home now.
That's what happened to me the other night. I went here. My friends all went to the Waffle House. So look at the Waffle House waitresses when you get drunk, and went to this.
Yeah,
but I wanted to go. But I mean, I went. That's what the night I wasn't here. That's when I went. But the night they were all going, I said I don't want to go tonight. So yeah, so that's why I'm here tonight, because I didn't go with them. So yeah, I didn't want to feel like riding all, and they all, drunk and high in the car. So, and I don't really drink, so I just sit there and drink. I've been wanting to get some numbers too, man, but I don't really. I watch them, so. That's why I wasn't here the other night when y'all was on. And I told Daniel, and I said, man, I was with my friend's party, and we have a little place called the Gentleman's Club downtown, and we went there and watched for about an hour, watched the ladies down there dancing. It was nice. It was nice.
Hey,
Zip. Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, come up here. I'll bring you to a couple up here.
I love those kind of places, man. I love those ladies. Just like that song by Bob Seger, "Up on Main Street." Yeah, a little girl working in the young lady working from the bar. Yeah. We all have our main streets, So a couple of them around here is pretty decent. I know some of the women actually got some cousins working there. I don't really look at them, but some of their lady friends that work there, dancing and stuff. Pretty decent place, nice. Yeah, I like it. I like this place. Ain't gonna say much. I don't want to offend nobody and say the wrong thing, but yeah, I'll be glad to go up there, man. I like Waffle House waitresses. Waffle House waitresses are cheap, and too, they're you get the number. So
there are females watching, guys.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we got cheese squatchers here, so
yeah.
Let's be respectful.
Zip.
Hey, wait a minute. You guys don't know them that well then, because hang out with them at a bar and see how they.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This will be our third year having them up here with us. Yeah, associate with them and listen to them talk. Then you wouldn't be so easy on how you talk with. Let me stop. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, they could definitely hold their own. So definitely can.
She squatches. I won't tell all your secrets. But yeah, here's a question from Johnny Tucker for you, Kelly. He's asking, what part of Falls Lake did you see the Bigfoot last year?
Well, I seen it I think it was September. My birthday's almost the first. We went I think it was 2 weeks right after my birthday. The second weekend after my birthday is 1st of September. Second weekend of September last year, and it was down there in the boat. What's that place? What is the part of it called? Redwood Road area. Redwood Road to get there. And it's right off of 85 and 90. It's like an old bridge in the middle of the water where it fell in the water, and one road going across, you can see 95, and the other one's 85, I think, behind you or in front. I can't tell, but I know you can see 85 and 95 over there. And what's it called? It's where they have the boats and stuff at over there.
You talking about Gaston?
Falls Lake.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Redwood Road area, yes, Redwood Road. From Cheek Road here in Durham all the way up Redwood Road, it's like 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. And Yeah, Red River Road take you right to the spot. That's what I call it Jubilee Land. That's where I seen one grown one and maybe two young ones in like the last 4 years. So I've been going.
Kelly, how many Bigfoots do you think that you actually seen in your whole life?
Let me see. Well, times I've seen ash shining rocks thrown at me was in Johnson County when I was married up down around a little river in the Kinley. I was telling about me and my friend Curtis, a place called Ed's Curve. There's probably 3 or 4 times down there that happened. Maybe 5 times. Stinky. 5 times down at McKinley. Twice in Smithfield, I've seen them, something go by me real fast and to hear noises and wood knocks. And then 3 times recently in Falls Lake, and then last spring over here at Penny's Bend, Eno River, and Penny's Bend Nature Reserve on Old Oxford Highway here. That was when my goddaughter seen the blobs, squat. It's like try to take videos and pictures. It's like real distorted and fuzzy, and I don't know why it is like that, but you can hear the audio well.
Yeah.
And then I think it was one time was this past summer, this past August, I was over there. Something was coming down the hill in front of me. I was down there at the boat ramp at the bottom of where everybody's fishing at with the waterfall. Right off the side of the bridge was kind of. It's like all the fish are trapped down there. It's like a big wide area with between 2 shallow spots, and we have waterfalls, and everybody catches their white bass and perch and catfish down there. And something right on top of the hill, beside where the houses are up there, going and people live. Something was coming charging down the hill, and I could see the bushes, and stuff moving, and hear it. It was like boom, 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 but I didn't ever see what it was. But that's the last time I think I've heard something like that. We don't have any wild pigs around here or any bears. On occasion, we have a bear or something that comes once in the blue moon down out toward like Carrier somewhere from the Neuse River Basin down that way where the Neuse River meets, I think, black bears coming through, but from the coastal area, but hardly ever. It ain't no moose around here, just white-tailed deer, bobcat, and foxes, and we had it. So I know the last time was this past August, yeah. Was it August?
Yeah. Now Kelly,
I can't remember what month. It was recently though when that thing was starting down the hill. That one was warm. I don't remember the date, but I remember it. So.
Yeah, but the question he was asking, how many Bigfoots have you ever seen? Like a total number?
You mean with my eyes, right?
Yeah.
5 or 6, 7 maybe.
And how long of a period of time?
From the age of 9 years old on up to now.
So 5?
Yeah. Maybe.
Wow.
And then I've also time, like I said, heard them making noise, wood knocks, and screaming and hollering and throwing rocks at me and I shine. That was, other times. And my buddy was like, "Who's that?" I said, "Man, we're like 20 minutes from everybody." We was like down between here and Goldsboro, and on the news, and that's when we was down there, and we something was throwing rocks at us, and then it's something throwing rocks at us, a little river, and that's like 10 miles from everybody. Near the spot where Goldsboro was, Kinley and Goldsboro was near together, and Little River runs into the Neuse River in that area. And I said, "Man, there ain't nobody in the woods like that." I said, "That's Bigfoot." He said, "Well, time to go, Kelly. Get your stuff." So we didn't
Kelly, I tell you what, these guys right here, the Squatch Watchers.
Yeah.
If you ever get the opportunity,
I watch them a lot.
Yeah, these guys would be a great group of guys to get in touch with down there. They're west of you, but they cover a lot of ground, and they've done a lot of investigations. They've actually
anybody's welcome to come and visit me. I can take them to some places I know, and they can see this. I know the difference between somebody breaking branches and a storm coming through. I can tell because, like with Stinky, the branches will be all bent up and twisted, like Blair Witch or something. It won't be that intricate patterns, but it'll be. I can tell the difference when something made. I can tell when they're around. I just have a feeling of them, man. I don't know if it's always been that way.
Yeah.
I
See,
used to
like
be
down.
terrified of it, but now I'm not scared anymore. There are some out there I think that are aggressive. I know they don't like people. We stink and we're ugly to them. So, you know, people burn their woods and tear their beautiful woods down, and they don't like that. So that's why they shy away from us, and, you know, they don't like us for that reason. I don't think.
Yeah. For me is also too is I don't. I rarely take people uh, uh, and do Bigfoot hunting, or Bigfoot researches, whatever that we do. And there's sometimes, I mean, the area is so big, and there's sometimes we have to be in the mercy of the landowners,
Yeah.
in order for us to go there.
All my places I go is either game land or nature preserve, and I don't ever go into nobody's private property. When I went around here, when it's recently happened, it was either at Falls Lake or recently or at Penny's Bend or over there at West Point, which is West Point, is like a park too. It's just like a state park here in Durham. They had all like the hippie festival and all that, where they had like Grateful Dead festivals and stuff like that there. And they had this Renaissance there at West Point, which is you can walk West Point, from Penny's Bend like 40 minutes down the river and to get from one place to the other. That's how close these places are to each other. But I think they're more in tune around Penny's Bend area because that's more like rural. But I know they come up this, around here and stuff. And
Oops, sorry about that.
but I know the places to go. But I don't ever take a weapon with me. I don't have a knife or a gun. I just go out there, and I don't have any bad vibes. I'm just actually glad to be out there in nature, and I know they're there, and I guess they know, they see guns and all that. They're aggressive. If they're not aggressive already, and the ones I
Yeah.
think that are like aggressive don't bother when they see a gun. They see a gun, they gonna shy away. They gonna run the other way. They know what gun, boom, boom, stick you do. So I guess so.
Well,
I'll never go back into my area again without a gun. I mean, the thing that I seen literally scared the bejesus out of me.
There's things in these woods down here and around here in the underground that I know may exist, things around here other than Bigfoot, but I don't go, I'm always going like the daytime when we go out, in the woods or something. I don't know. I've never been at night because I think nighttime is the time that I think they travel and they're like, I guess maybe nocturnal, but and on the move and stuff. But I never, going at nighttime. I don't. That's one thing I would be scared to do is go out there at night because I just have I don't go in the woods at night. So,
and for good reason.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the sighting I had was during the daytime, and that was the weird thing about it too. After I've had a lot of people tell me in the area they've seen black colored Sasquatches, but the one I can't. Okay, guys, I can't definitely say this thing wasn't a bear, but I can't say it wasn't a Bigfoot because it happened so fast. It startled me. I just a short little rundown. It startled me. I bent over to grab my stuff. By the time I had grabbed my backpack, my walking stick, and stood up, maybe 5 to 7 seconds, it was 200 foot away from me. I mean, that fast.
Yeah.
And which tells me I don't think it was a bear.
That's no bear.
For it to be it was a reddish brown looking color.
Yeah,
We do
that's
have
no
a
bear.
lot. We do have a lot of black bear in the area, and the thing about it is too, Marcella seen where she had her sighting. It's just right over the mountain from where it's connected pretty much, and I've got a lot of questions still to try to figure out. It's like thoughts keep running through your head,
Oh yeah.
500 miles per minute. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get back up there soon and do a little research and stuff, looking around to see if it like made any indentions, because where it was standing at when I started it and it stood up, it didn't even turn around to look to see if I was directly behind it or not, which I was pretty close, at least 20 yards, because I was looking down at it, so it would have to turn around completely around and look up the hill at me, but it didn't.
Uh-huh.
It just stood straight up
Yeah,
and
buddy.
took off. And I was like, I couldn't believe how fast it moved, though. 5 seconds, 200
Yeah,
feet,
buddy.
that was booking it.
Yeah, Jimmy. There's sometimes, Jimmy, we can be our own worst critics.
I take a silver
Yeah,
bullet with me if I go up there. I would just in case take a silver bullets or something. With that sound, I just some silver.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, Jimmy, we could be our own worst critics. I mean, sometimes we um, but again, my old saying, dude, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
It does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no,
when I saw mine, Jimmy, I came up there and I mean, again, I mean, you said it perfectly. A million things come running through your head. What is it? It's not and and all these things come into your head, and you're like going, and it's totally not the species of animal that I think it is, but it only has to be one thing, and never in a million years did I ever think that I would actually see a Bigfoot in South Texas. Never.
yeah.
And again, he goes, and I still doubt it. I still doubt it myself. And then I had to contact some old timers, and the old timers, oh yeah, you basically did see something, and I know exactly what you saw. So,
And I guess one thing though too that actually gets me is I didn't get to see its face, because most people say they get to see, they see the face, they get to see the facial features.
hmm
But after I'd sat for just a little bit and thought to myself, did I see any ears? No, I don't remember seeing any ears at all. As far as I can remember, the hair was kind of wispy. It was like fine and real fuzzy.
uh-huh.
And like I said, when I startled this thing, it stood straight up. Then I freaked out, took a step back, turned around to grab my stuff, and by maybe like I said, 5 to 7 seconds, and it was gone 200 yards down the hill from me. And there was like a gully, and it took off, and I just caught the tail end of it before it hit the creek and ran up the other side of the mountain. So
Wow. What
um, it,
my buddy actually saw one. God rest his soul. He actually saw one, and I'm glad that he shared stories with us. And he was on top of the house working, and he saw it actually walking by a coastal field, around a coastal field. And he said that he covered a quarter of a mile like it's nothing. So I mean,
Yeah.
these animals are fast, and
Yeah.
so that's why they man, we can't keep up with them.
No, no.
We
And
yeah.
can't.
they should be fast. Let's just say they're 8 feet tall. How long is that? How long are their legs? How big is their stride?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're going to cover. They're going to run 35 miles an hour, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like problem. Um. So
I'd
physically,
estimate the height probably
yeah,
right at in between 6.5 to 7 foot tall. To me, it was what threw me off is it kind of looked skinny. I mean, it really did. The legs kind of looked funny to me, but the rest of it was like really, really hairy. And I don't know if it was having a hard time, whether it was health wise, if it had something wrong with it. The reason why it was so little, but also it come to me too. Maybe it was a juvenile that I seen,
right. Yeah, it could have
and it
been.
just didn't have the weight on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
yeah. I
ahead.
wanted to make mention of, with this comment right here, Lost Cryptids Conservatory. What he mentions right here, the black bears can be different color phases like brown, red, blonde, and as he goes on to say, this is more as you go out to the west. Now he's absolutely correct. Now black bears, as we know it, they do have these different colors here on the East Coast, but they're not visible to us. Um, I have a collection of black bear hair, and if you take the time to look at it, it's not all black. There is actually blonde and a little bit of brown in it.
Yeah.
But to see it visible, to see a bear brown, yeah, the bears that like some of the brown bears, they're actually no different than a black bear. They're just brown, because black bears do come in, as he says, out west. So that is a true fact. I just wanted to point that out. I like how he brought that up. So um,
I want to say that I've seen 3 different types. They all look like Patty to me. One I seen last year looked like the one that was screaming at me looked more like a baboon, or what you say, a howler monkey. I finally found out what a howler monkey looks like. That's what it looked like, or a baboon. And the third one was like Shaka from Land of the Lost. Those are 3 different types I've seen. And why they all don't look, I used to always say they look like Patty, but no. I know now they're different. I believe there's different species and types of Bigfoot and Sasquatch or whatnot, you know. I really do. And the one like a baboon has more of the snout, like almost like a dog, I think.
That's funny. That's interesting. Almost like a dog.
Yeah, it's a snout, but it's like a baboon has like that, you know. When I finally seen the pictures, I'm like, wow, that's what I look kind of similar to what I seen, you know. And the head was less, not as, it wasn't domed, you know, so like Patty, you know.
Yeah.
Or the Yeti in the pictures, you know. But the one I seen crossing up the brown, the reddish brown one crossing up the hill at Falls Lake last year, that was a conehead. Be real big and different from the other ones I seen, but smaller.
It kind of does make you think too. If humans come in different colors, shapes, sizes, well, it's not to say that a Bigfoot, there isn't different types. Like I've been doing podcasts for years. I've been doing a lot of interviews with folks, and from what I found out, there are different types. Like you said, ones with the snout. Um, I've even heard of what they call a gugwe, which is a very, very aggressive type of Bigfoot, and
Yeah,
they're not as
Gugly.
big, heavy wise and stuff like that. But to me, it just sounds like it's just a temperament, really. Just like a person can have a bad mood, be in a bad mood. Who's not to say that a Bigfoot can have a bad day, also.
Yeah, that's true. Also too, Jimmy, is basically again, it's basically a form of a territory. And they'll
Yes.
come up there, and this is my area. Stay away from it. And mine. When they actually knocked down a tree, and he basically told me that he didn't wanted me there for me to get the f out. So,
Yeah.
but again, but the thing is, again, there's a form of respect, basically, and he got my attention. And when I used to go there, ever since then, I never went by myself. I always had somebody with me, because there was times when I would go down these creeks all hours of the night. Like from 6 o'clock in the morning, I wouldn't come back till pretty close to 6:30 in the evening, just about starting to get dark. I would walk these things by myself, and seeing trees that nothing but grapevines on there, like nothing but black, like a canopy, just like a scare movie that you would actually see, and still have the cojones to walk down these places just to explore. And then once I had my experience, and I'm going, okay. It goes, I ain't going there no more by myself. So, and then I would find structures and little things like that, and that I never paid that much attention to them. And I kind of wish that I knew more now, back then. But we even seen a handprint in the mud, thinking that it was another person walking down these creeks. So we thought it was maybe an illegal alien walking down these creeks. But the hand was too big, so we just let stuff like that go. So
I walked down to where this thing stood up at, but where it was standing at, I mean, I'm talking like a foot and a half of leaves, duff, pine needles, and things like that.
wow,
So, kind of tells me a little bit that it really wasn't as heavy as it looked, because it didn't even make an indentation in the ground. And most reports that I've gotten over the years with eyewitnesses and stuff, these things are big. They're very, very heavy, very large creatures, and they're
Right.
going to make kind of indention in the ground, whether it's you know, standing in one area for just a little bit. I've even heard of them like shuffling their feet back and forth together, you know, like a little impatient kid would do if they're just standing around doing something.
Yeah, Jimmy. But the thing is also too, you have to realize this is your terrain, because they'll come over there and walk and in certain areas to the creeks or anything like that. They won't leave no footprints behind because the dirt is so hard. So I mean, everything depends upon the terrain and where the stuff is at. But again, I mean, the terrain is everything. All different. Like we have sandy loam here, and there's some areas that we do have, clay and stuff like that. But once that clay gets hardened up, you man, anybody could walk on there and not leave a track. So again, these animals know what they're doing. I mean, these animals have been here a very long time. So they learn from each other, and so they know how to stay stealth. And so that's what makes them such a mystery to us. And one of these days we're going to unlock their mystery. But by that time, you know, I hope to be in this world, actually to see that. And I would love to be that person to break to break it. But again, we as researchers have to be out there in the field, just trying to get as much information as we possibly can. So
Yeah, in that area too, you know, like you said about the terrain, the terrain's very, very hard right there in that, you know, on that side of the mountain, especially. Very, very rocky terrain, very hard, compact dirt. So,
yeah,
you know, it makes
see, and
sense that
also
you would say that.
right, and also too in these terrains area, there's a lot of places to hide. A lot of places to hide. I could go there right now and nobody will find me. The only the only person or thing that could find me is my dog Spud. So, and I always said if I ever get lost in the woods, just send them out there looking for me. So, but again, it's dealing with the terrain and just finding the places to hide and and just look for the ditches that the runoffs that the things make, or you'll be surprised how many caves are out there that you don't even know about. So it's always good to study your terrain. I mean, sometimes you can go to an area that you've been there hundreds of times, and then all of a sudden you find something that you miss. That's what's always real good, to be real observant to
Yeah.
the stuff out there.
But Jimmy, you're talking about like ridge tops in Kentucky, right?
Oh yeah, Southeast Kentucky,
Yeah.
mountainous terrain. I mean, if it was daylight, I could show you pictures and you wouldn't believe how big the mountains are here. They're just that's basically all Harlan is nestled right in the middle of the
Yeah.
Appalachians. You know?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
part of the Appalachian terrain chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here in Virginia, we got some pretty decent sized mountains too. But as you head more to the south, I know I've seen parts of Kentucky years ago. It's been a long time since I've been to Kentucky, but I know this past year, just within the last few months or so, when we were headed down to South Carolina, we actually drove through a good portion of Tennessee. And I tell you what, Tennessee had some really nice mountains. I was actually pretty impressed by what Tennessee had. So,
Yeah.
but I wrote down a question because I was listening to some of the things you guys are talking about, and it brought this to mind. And this is I've seen this question asked a million times, basically, and and the thing is, this is where people, because there's a lot of people can't come up with a logical explanation, so they jump to, okay, well, Bigfoot's supernatural or got some powers or blah blah blah. My question to you, everyone, think about this, and everyone, you can share your own opinion. Maybe some of you guys might share the same thoughts. Um, but think about trackways. When people come across tracks and they claim they see a set of tracks and then they stop and they don't know where else they go. I personally have heard of here in Virginia from a former police officer who had some trackways. It was in the snow, and you know they try to follow it and follow it. Those tracks kept going. It went so far they stopped following them. But why do you think people find tracks? You know, I have my reasons, but or my thoughts and theories and beliefs, or whatever. But I want to hear from you guys, and this might help other people too. But why do you think tracks stop, and where it looks like the subject, maybe disappeared, as some people believe?
Be- uh,
Go ahead, Baltimore. I'll start with you.
it's how they walk, because if you actually notice how a person walks, right, left, whatever, but they walk like in a straight line, basically on a straight line, and then that's why sometimes you see tracks, just going straight, and then you don't see tracks going side by side by side. All you see these tracks going like back and forth like this, and then so it's a certain way that it walks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you actually put a string on one of the tracks that you actually see and trying to figure out exactly, how how they actually move. Also too, when people used to try to track Native American Indians, a Native American Indians was sometimes even backtrack. Just to try to get away like that. You want to actually, because they know real well the tracks gives the animal away. And then so
Right.
and the thing is again, there'll be stuff where they'll probably hop in an area just to throw everybody off. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they do just to get away. And if you actually see them walk in the snow, it's basically a straight line, but you never see side by side tracks. It's always to the straight
True.
line. It's always walk, different. But Bigfoot's walk basically in a real straight line.
Hmm.
I'm like you,
And
Baltimore. I believe they backtrack themselves.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things. They could step off into different terrain or leap off into different terrain that is easily trackable. They could go up if there's a tree,
Exactly. Exactly.
uh, or they could be from planet Hairtron and have the powers to vanish through a portal. I don't know, but I think a good starting point is that people who describe that sort of disappearance of tracks, a good starting point is, well, you lost the track, you lost the trail. You know,
Yeah.
is a good place to start. Instead of jumping to conclusions like people like to do. And there's not really that many accounts of people losing trackways. I've never heard that firsthand ever, not once.
Yeah. Like I said, I
Think,
brought it up because it's been brought up on a few occasions where some people say, "Well, hey, this they follow like this guy here." That's why I mentioned in snow, because that's one of the things I've heard, people following tracks in the snow and they seem like they disappear. So, like like what you brought up, that makes a lot of sense. But
can I say
as far as
something?
they could
You
have
got
lost the trackways,
Yeah.
but
you got to
go
think
ahead,
too.
Baltimore.
A
Yeah.
creature with such high intelligence
Right.
would take the time now to make sure that it steps in its footprints in the right spots so that it doesn't show signs that it's stepping in there. I mean, they're not stupid. They're very, very highly intelligent creatures.
Right. I gotta say something here because before I lose my thought, I thought I had a I have a friend of mine, and he's actually a contractor, and he actually lives in he actually works here in the United States, but he has actually got land in Mexico. And he came up there and told me the most fascinating story, and then it got me thinking. He came up and he told me that he actually in his ranch he actually saw two of them, a male and a female together, and it was down by this river. It wasn't the Rio Grande. It was another river. He called it. I forgot the name of the river, and he described it perfectly and everything like that. And he came up there and he told me this, that and kind of baffled the mind a little bit. He goes, here in North America, the people up here, they are so fascinated with Bigfoot, so fascinated with it. That's all they talk about. But down here, we would see it all the time and stuff, but we never talked about it. It's just like wild people in the woods, and we don't mess with them. We know that they're there, and Harry described perfectly what he actually saw, male and female, and they live in the thickest of brush. And then so they're going, well, when and then all they goes, it goes, oh, so you in Spanish they would tell them, oh, we saw your buddy again, or blah blah blah. But again, uh, so they would always, they would always see it, but nobody talked about it down there. It was basically a respected creature. So,
Mhm.
but that was fascinated me because he was saying that here in North America we're so always talking about it, but down there in the South, they never do talk about it.
No, people down south don't talk about them openly. I
No,
mean,
they don't.
you'll hear them use terms like booger or booger willy or whatever term, but there's no open discussion. It's very hard to get people to talk about it. They'll acknowledge
Right.
it and like, yeah, it's there, but we don't want to talk about it. Kind of like Kelly was saying, like he touched on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, my computer's dying, guys. I just want to say goodbye, good night. Thanks for having me on. I gotta go.
Oh, not a
Good
problem.
night,
Not a
Pat.
problem.
Have a good
Good
night,
night.
I don't
man.
want to say, but Pat's got a date. I just
Yeah,
joking.
yeah, yeah. I gotta fire up the Walking Dead here for the girl. Squatch bait.
All right, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate it. So,
All right, thanks, guys, man, and we'll get you up to the conference, Kelly.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
All right, later, pal.
Later, bro.
yeah,
Can I say about the snow, man?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
All right, you was wondering why you can't see the tracks and the tracks in and stuff. When I knew Stinky back when I was a kid, and there's 2 occasions it did snow, maybe 3 occasions in 3 years I've been seeing them, and it snowed. It was maybe 2 or 3 times. Then in the woods we would go, there was always logs there and old bushes flat, when the snow hit. And a lot of times he would step on the logs, He wouldn't always decide the footprints. And I think it was due with the way his legs was. His legs was different from mine, as I said, last time. And he would walk like that. And like I said, when he would walk, it would be on his he would like on his toes. It wasn't on his heels, on his feet. Always walked like with his toes. And I remember seeing going in the woods when I do go in there sometimes, and I'd be actually looking for something else in the side. I'm gonna look around and see if I see any, or come across any tracks or anything that look like big. I know the difference between a person and other than what the Bigfoot looks like, because the way the journals is, even the snow you can tell if it's I can tell if it's fake or what the person, or another animal. And like I said, we only have coyote, deer, bobcat, and foxes, and that's it. No bears, no wolves or anything like that, no elk, no moose. And so I've noticed a lot of times going down Penny Bend one time when it snowed, and West Point Eno once it snowed. This was in the last 2 or 3 years. I would, I've come across once I've come across at West Point some tracks, and they would end, and that would be like with an area where where it's a field at, you see the tracks, but when you get to the woods, I think they take the logs and have the logs where the trackways, I think have their what they step on and stuff so people won't find the tracks to confuse people because they are smart. And knowing Stinky back then would always step over logs and stuff and wasn't always, in one path going.
Have you ever seen Stinky walk on all fours, going on fours?
once he was running, he would like run. It's like almost like, well, it wasn't like playing the new Planet of the Apes when they were running on all fours. It was more of a undulated motion when he would run. When he would run on fours, I think probably once he did that with a train. He liked it when the train went by. He always loved the train, and I don't know why, but he fascinated with the train. He would run on fours trying to, when the caboose would go by with the end of the track, he would like be on fours and ran. That was like one time I seen him doing it. He was so fast, and that's the only thing I've ever seen doing that. And I think recently, when I watched the last Planet of the Apes movie just come out, that's similar to the way the gorilla soldiers were running on fours, except the front end and back end was like this, when he was running. Kind of like, undulating. It's kind of hard to explain. It wasn't like, I don't think a person would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the way the feet are so padded and the skin is so thick, I think it'd take a really, really sharp buck knife or something to cut the skin on one of them, because his skin, like I said, was like leather, almost like leather and padded and I think, like I seen one thing of this video. I know someone was talking about when we were saying it about the Bigfoot that killed the dog, right? Well, I seen a video, the guy talking about the dogs. They put the dogs on them. The Bigfoots was terrorizing the farms locally, I think, or something. I think I seen that when we were spoken about. But there's one when it running up a hill, and when they had I think it was on Sign of Bigfoot too when they did that. They tried to have an athlete, a little big athlete, run up that hill, and it was so messed with rocks and huckleberries and that it'd be impossible for a person to, especially at the speed, run up the hill. And he was fast. Stinky was fast. And two, like I said, I believe they use logs and stuff to walk where they can't see the tracks. People can't see the tracks, and they're very smart in concealment like that. Like I think Penny's Bean, if anybody ever wants to go with me over there, grandmother, I call her grandmother. That's the big white one, the female that runs it. I guess because most of them are like brown and black, and she's a big white one. I think it's a smaller white one. I don't know if it's a male or female. I know the big white one, the one that rules that little group, And if anybody ever wants to go see grandmother, I can sure take them over there and see if she let them see her, whatever. But it's from a distance. Usually, I've never had that like close up with them. They'll always be from a distance. Like you can see them like hunched down like this. Stand up. As quick as they stand up, they're gone. So, but I welcome anyone to come down to Durham, man, and want to see these things. These people. I call them peoples and stuff. Welcome to do it. But I would advise. Well, I think you ain't gonna be no guns. The ones out here are pretty passive, I guess, except for the one that I seen that falls late, the young one that, threw crap at me and rocks and took my fish and was aggressive, I guess, because he was young, he was scared of me, and I was scared of him. But most of the ones I go around are generally passive. They don't want to be bothered. But if anybody wants to go with me, I would, I would have if you have a gun, make sure it's concealed, on you where they don't see it, because they take the guns around here. They're passive over this way. So that's my feeling, is they're passive. But I've never had, and I've never had sticks or anything. I just go in there. I'm just free spirited and just me, going in there, and I don't mean them nothing no harm, and and they don't bother me. But they let me see them, on occasion and hear them, and I know they're there. So
you see that right there? That's my concealed carry permit right there.
Okay, cool.
And by law, I can carry it down across the state line.
As long as they can if they see the pistol on you, as long as you put it in your jacket or somewhere, somewhere we can reach it. But the ones around here, they know guns because so many hunters around here. And when it's been told once or twice, because I've been living here, of someone killing one, as soon as it was put out there, it went away. It won't even on the news. It won't even made credible to be on a newscast. Put it that way. As soon as something was told, somebody killed an 8-man in the woods, a Bigfoot. As soon as you heard about it, it was forgotten. So I don't know why, but stuff like that around here, um, Duke, and the primate center is right down the street too, from where I see it, by the VA hospital and Duke Hospital and Duke University, where they have the lemurs and stuff. And I believe they're different too. They don't walk like us, and like I said, the way Stinky would communicate was in whistles and pops and hollering. It wasn't like human conversation. After a while, it seemed like we had a silent understanding of each other. What basically what it's like. I didn't know what he was saying. He couldn't understand my words, but we understood each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have a cat or a dog, and that cat lets you know when he wants his litter box. So he can't talk, of course, but he lets me know when the litter box needs cleaning, when he wants water, when he wants food. Animals will let you know that. And it's like a wordless communication. That's the way the Bigfoot, I think, is. Like Stinky, I didn't know what he was saying, but after a while, it's like we knew each other, like that. So. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an unspoken understanding, and things. And when time for me to go home, I'll be like, all right, see you later. And you just look at me and start back peeling in the sand with his little stick, drawing all these little things in the dirt, So.
Hey, what's with the mask?
That's coronavirus, Bob.
Excuse me, doctor.
Coronavirus.
Excuse me, Doctor Daniel. Am I allowed to take my mask off yet?
No, by the way, it's Dr. Doolittle. I talk to animals, and no, you can't.
But this is very. I can't breathe in here. I can't do this no more. I gotta take this off. No,
You're gonna affect the rest of the panel.
We had the coronavirus. Somebody with the coronavirus here in Durham. And Duke, I don't know if seen it on the news, but it was like someone coming from China. I think it was 3 weeks ago. It was on the news about it. They had a person in confinement, and the person's okay now, but they, said they had a coronavirus, and they quickly had people like secluded to come in contact with the person. It was a Chinese lady or something from China on the plane. I remember it was all over the news and stuff around here, and people walk around here with masks on. I'm like, I ain't worried. I got my hot, as long as I got my hot peppers in my shine. I know my corn knuckle, my hot peppers, and my garlic. I'm cool. That'll knock out anything. So.
Wow.
So many thousands of people have died from it or whatever. And, hey, if it happens, it happens.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people making it out to be a big,
Yeah.
giving it a lot of hype, because I've actually seen and read up on it where it's not as serious as what they're making it out to be. It is a new type of respiratory virus. Like they said, it's not much different than the cold, but it is a different type of respiratory virus, and as they warned everybody, just learn to be sanitary, wash your hands. If somebody's sick, and try not to cough out, because usually, even if I have a simple cough, I always put my mouth in the middle of my arm, because you don't want to spread germs and nothing, so because you don't know if you have a cold that's developing or not,
Yeah. It's like it's like at Walmart when all these people use those carts. They always wipe their bars up
Oh
there.
yeah.
I'm in the impression that whatever comes in like this, we really have to be prepared or be safe with it because we just don't know anything about this. We're just
Right.
now learning about it. And it's like when AIDS came in, they had all these different stuff about AIDS and everything like that, and they had so many different stories about the AIDS and how but now we actually know how it how people could get it, but because people are so afraid of the unknown. And then the thing is, so that's why that's why it's good to be prepared, and that's why to get a lot of information and to get the right information, because right now people are panicking, and they have every right to be. There's 3 cases here in San Antonio, and
Yeah.
again, I mean, we just don't know anything about the disease or the virus or anything like that, and it's real good to be aware. So, people joke
Yeah.
about it all the time. I've seen people, a drunk having Corona bottles spraying all the way around him and everything like that. Call it the coronavirus, But they joke a lot about this stuff. But sometimes we got to take stuff seriously before until we get a handle of it on this.
Well, you mentioned the Corona beer. Do you believe it or not? There's actually people. There's been articles about this. People really believe that the coronavirus is coming from the Corona beer. It's a Mexican brewed beer. They have no understanding. A lot of people
always blame the Mexicans.
I better clean my refrigerator out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with beer, people. It has nothing to do with Corona beer.
Yeah.
So, because there was actually people, from what I understood and read, the people were actually boycotting or whatever, not touching it. Yeah, like you said, we don't know nothing about it, but that's one thing we know: it's not coming from the beer; it's coming from China.
The Corona beer is one of the that's the sorriest beer that there is to drink. The sorriest beer in Mexico is a Corona. Yeah, that's the sorriest beer to drink. And I mean, they have other excellent beers in Mexico, but the Corona is the most sorry drink.
Yeah, I've had a Corona beer a long time ago, and I tell you what, it was like nasty. I'm sorry, it is.
Jose Cuervo is pretty good, but Corona is nasty. I like it because it's cheap. So
yeah.
But Jose Cuervo is pretty good.
I bet it is.
Oh yes.
Oh my.
Oh man. You know what's got me wondering? Me myself, I have asthma, and when you have asthma, you're told that your system is like shot. And but I don't worry because like the flu is worse than anything, and I've had the flu every year now, just about. And when I get sick, I get definitely sick. But anyways, this has got me thinking. There's all these rumors going around. There's rumors of it came from bats, it came from a snake, it came from the meat market, it came from Wuhan. Now they're saying it came from some book back in 18 to some guy wrote some book and he predicted that this was actually going to happen. But I take a scientific standpoint on it. Like what I would like to know I would like to know what each one of you think. Is there a chance it could have came from the permafrost, a ancient virus in the ocean? Because they've been talking about that they found ancient viruses that's in the ocean that has came from permafrost.
Can't
no idea.
answer that question. I wouldn't even know where to begin. All that I know,
as far as I can understand, the coronavirus itself's been around for a very long time. I believe it's just a strain that is mutated. And we all know that certain types of flu and colds and things like that will do the same thing too, and they become antibiotic resistant. So I believe that's just basically all it is, really. Just the original strain that's just mutated itself.
Well, actually, yeah. With that being said, Jimmy, I've seen on TikTok, I've seen on Facebook, people sharing these videos. They're in the stores and they look on the cans of Lysol, and it shows you, they killed 99.9% of germs and bacteria. And if you look on the back, and what's listed on the back and all the different viruses, the coronavirus is listed under all that. Yep.
On the Lysol?
Yeah, on Lysol.
It gives you a list of it's in small writing, it's in fine print. You got to look at it. It gives you all the rundown of all the different the bacteria and viruses that it does kill. So Yep.
Go get one. Go get one, Bobcat. I know you got one. Go get it.
He's got to check it out. He's
Damn right he is. Yeah, he is a nut. God. All right, go ahead, Bobcat. Read it. Let's see coronavirus on there.
Man, I can't even see these. I can't even see the letters.
Is it made in Africa?
Zimbabwe.
There you go.
If you're like me, Bobcat, you might have to take your glasses off. If it's that small of writing, you might have to take your glasses off and look at it. Or put reading glasses on. I don't know where my reading glasses are. They're around here somewhere. He's squinting. Maybe that ain't helping. I don't know.
Hey,
don't look like it is.
How old is that can?
I just bought this.
Okay.
Brand new. Are you sure, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Well, I don't know if I have mine.
Yeah.
Hey, go get your can. Man, Jimmy, only in this show. Here we are. Look at it.
That's hilarious. It's hilarious, man. I'm telling you.
God, Jimmy, this is what we call entertainment at its best. Yeah, so we're gonna get a whole bunch
Exactly.
we're gonna get a whole bunch of people saying, "Look at this. Is it the same can or the same bottle?"
All right, I don't have the can. I have this Lysol spray right here. It's it says kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. I get this one here because it has a really nice citrus sparkle zest smell.
Okay.
I like a good scent. but actually on this one here, it has a very short description. It does not mention kills salmonella, E. coli, all kinds of other weird words I'm not going to try to pronounce. Herpes simplex virus, the rhinovirus.
Wow.
Keep in mind when the rhinovirus breakout happens, it's already listed here.
My bottle says H1N1 in the swine flu and MRSA.
Yeah, mine has a very short description here, but because it usually do say it, but this right here, my Lysol, yeah, because this don't have no bleach in it either. So maybe if it had bleach in it, that would because this one here is made with hydroxin, hydroxin peroxide. So yeah,
Well,
it has 0% bleach.
Well, let me get my can.
We're all doing can.
I was going to do the same thing. I've got cans in there, but I'm just like, get mine right now. I'll let Baltimore go get his.
And when we all get off here, we're gonna go start spraying down wiping down our house.
Yeah.
Yeehaw!
I got my can. There you go.
Yeah, Modelo, yes. Yes.
That'll cure anything.
Amen.
Habanero jalapeno cayenne. Yes.
Hey,
That's what I'm going to do next year. Next year, I have a friend, right? This year that's running. She goes with me, actually works with me at Wellness City Recovery Center. And she's a counselor like me. And that's crazy. I used to be a client, now I'm a counselor. Wow. Anyway, she's running for county commissioner. So next year, man, I'm running for mayor. I'm going to do it for the hell of it. I probably won't win. People say they won't vote for me, but my motto is, my slogan is, I'm not a politician. I don't know a damn thing about politics, but I represent the people. And my theme song is going to be Public Enemy, the harder they think. So I'm going to do it, though, man. I'm going to run for it, and I want to do it this year. They said, too, have to wait the next year to do the run for mayor. But my friend said if she gets to be county commissioner next week or whenever, I think it's the 3rd, the voting day or whatever, I got to make sure I go to look for her. She's gonna give me a job up there, being her head of her security, her office. I said, okay, that's cool. That gets me in the door, and in there, So
Everybody get their can out. Yes.
Can I have a can?
You just had your can.
Man,
Unless
I
we're
like to
talking
have
about
some
drinks now.
Modelo instead of this daggone Corona, man.
Mine's not an alcoholic. I got Dr. Wham. It's a yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost like Dr. Pepper. This one here, it says it's been around since 1927.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was right after Baltimore was born. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking, Baltimore.
Shoot.
All I keep is beer and water in my house. I don't have no sodas or anything like that. I try to stay away from sodas, but I go to work, I go to dinner or lunch, it'll be spaghetti. That's like Italian thing,
Yeah, I got
spaghetti, and so when I'm away from the house, I drink sodas and I eat. But here in the house is all health food stuff, man, and water and beer. I consider
Wow.
beer a health food. It's fattening, but it helps me feel good. So in moderation. So
Yeah, beer always makes anybody feel good.
yes, I get
Okay.
to play musically inclined when I get to drink a little bit.
It depends what kind of beer you're drinking.
If I drink Modelo or from start to finish, man. But if I'm sober or ain't drinking, I can't seem to play a lick. So
Yeah,
I can play really good when I'm intoxicated though.
yeah. Normally, when I drink, I drink in moderation, and
Yeah.
and then I know when to quit and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
same here.
yeah, there's this beer here that's called Cowbell, and has 9% alcohol in it.
Oh wow,
Oh man, it's a great beer.
it tastes good too.
Oh, it's great.
Oh man, cowbell.
Cowbell, and it's only found here in Texas. Lee, Texas.
Oh man,
In Texas here, we make some great beer.
Texas has all the great stuff, man. The music, the beer,
There
the
you go.
women. Oh wow.
I don't know about beer, but I can get you all the moonshine that you want.
Oh hell,
I like moonshine, bro. I got the jar in there in the cabinet for when I get the flu or something, man. I take a little sip of that, man. I sit there stuck for like an hour, but then after I'm stuck, I feel better. This virus is gone. So moonshine is a cure for a lot of things.
Oh yeah, no
Oh
doubt.
yes.
I'll take some
Look at
gin.
Jen Cruz from the Cheese Squatcher said her dog loves beer. She said, "Do you think Bigfoot likes beer?"
hell. You know what? You never know. You never know. He probably knows how to open up a beer.
This
Yeah.
guy here likes Corona. Big Papa likes Corona, don't you? We once in a blue moon, like a little Corona. My cat is my buddy, my brother. So yeah, he be wanting somebody to bring a female up in here. I'm like, I ain't having no cat up in here, bro. Yeah, I've been
They
getting
do.
enough, a female cat for myself. I get a woman for myself, but he got to look at the window, So
They do have Bigfoot beer. They have It's called Squatch Owl beer.
Beer, Paul.
called it. What's his name? Huckleberry said he had Sasquatch piss. Was the name of the moonshine he had? Sasquatch piss.
Hey Kelly, look, Eric Young has a message for you.
Oh yeah, when I get this hernia taken out of me in June or July, that's when I'm gonna quit smoking. I quit actually from 2013 to last summer. I started that last summer, so yeah. I'm just encouraging my appetite to keep me fired. I'm like, for 15 years I was bedridden, and Ben and Jerry's, Papa. You see these 500-pound, morbidly obese people, and that was me, man. I was like, people used to tell me in the Family Dollar down here in line, move out the way, fat bastard, oompa loompa. I mean, oompa, trying to make it funny about it. But I got tired of that mess, man. I want to get back to my regular size. I was 190 before 2013. I was 190, but I quit smoking cigarettes actually, quickly. In 2 years, I was almost 700 pounds.
Wow.
Kelly,
Yeah.
just curious, how old are you, Kelly?
I turned 50 August 21st of this past. So I'm 50 years old.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll
And
be
I'm in the
54.
prime of my life, brother. I'm glad I'm not a lot of guys my age I went to school with or walking with walkers and taking Viagra and look bad, wrinkled up and old. I think I did pretty well for my guy. I wouldn't want to be 20 years old again. Put it that way.
Well, I'm going to be 54 in a few more days.
That's
So.
what's up. I'm like that. I know what David Bowie meant when he said golden years. Golden years. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Come on up, baby. So, yeah.
Well, I know
Well,
as long as we got Bobcat on here, I'm not the youngest. Yay!
for those who know me, for those who don't know me, I'm a joker. So since we already talked about the coronavirus and sprays, let's talk about Viagra.
Never had it. It killed me. I'd be up all night long when I am watching Zip. Okay, I play the fifth on that. I don't need Viagra, man. That killed me. So, yeah. Since I've lost weight, when they said doctors are going,
How did we go
kind
from
of hate to get my age, but.
how did we talk about going from talking about Bigfoot to Viagra?
Only Bobcat.
Only Bobcat. And taking out the
I
can.
I I I really think on that note, I want to get off here, guys.
Bobcat, you don't need that stuff, do you? You're younger than I am.
Ain't nothing like a Waffle House waitress, bro. A Waffle House waitress is they're cheap, they're inexpensive, and they give you the number. I love a Waffle House waitress. There's a song by Confederate Railroad, I love trashy women with a Dolly Parton wig. I don't want no wig on, but is he trashy? Hey, what's up? Woo,
There you go. Man,
We
Jen.
have a good idea. Bigfoot Viagra.
Oh, wow.
Shaped like little feet. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, first time I thought, I didn't know Patty was a female until I was older. I saw the video when she had breasts. I'm like, really? Wow. Okay.
The squatters. Why?
let me stop on that, man. Let me stop on that Patty, because if I see Patty, hey, come here a minute,
Man.
It's like Bobcat. Bobcat is an entrepreneur, guys. He wants to start up SasquatchesOnly.com.
Yep.
And he mentioned that on the show last night when me and Marcella was talking about haunted items and stuff.
It's gonna happen soon.
Yeah.
Joni says, okay, let's talk about Bigfoot. Have there been any new sightings recently? What do you guys know of any new sightings?
Well, how recent is recent? Because we actually saw one, matter of fact, like around 2 weeks ago, down in Urbana, where it actually, somebody actually saw it like around 3 o'clock in the morning. And lady looked outside her window and actually saw it walking away. And
Wow.
that was and then there have been there's actually been a few sightings down in my hometown. Um, even in the surrounding areas, pipeline workers are still seeing it. There's some oil field workers that unload their cargo, and they're so afraid to drive in their location at night because a lot of them have actually been seeing it. And that's the beauty about it now is a lot of the truck drivers now they're really starting to see it now, are really talking to each other about it. And then so probably and even as a maintenance man, people have always told me, and because they're actually oil field workers, and they'll come up there and they'll tell me a story, and they'll come up, oh, so my buddy saw it a few weeks ago, my other buddy saw it last week, and now we're scared to drive at night. So I said, hey, but that's your job, and if you see anything, just let me know what town you saw it at or whatever. But the sightings have been coming around here, and when Jen was here, two major newspapers actually wrote our stories up, and in B County and also in Goliad County, and which now is a bigger area now, and we're just waiting for the stories to come in. So.
Now, I was sent this link, and this was the link is from today. It was posted today, and this is from out of Virginia here, which I try to zoom in. I'll have to look more on on a bigger screen maybe. But this is actually, it's more of West Virginia. It's out of the new. I sent this to Tracy. This is close to him. I have been down through this area several times on delivery runs, but it's a couple that claim to have photographed a Bigfoot near the New River Gorge in the West Virginia area. Actually, out at Fayette County, West Virginia, and I know. Like I said, I know this. I've been there. So I don't know. There's not much information on it. There's only really a photo, which actually, if I try to show you guys a photo, it's not gonna even when I zoomed in on it, it's not gonna really do no justice. But
the New River runs all the way to North Carolina to Mississippi, I think, Georgia, I think.
No, this new river actually comes from it starts in from West Virginia and runs.
Yeah, but it comes out this way. It was near West Jefferson where I was moving to.
Of course, in this one here, they have a red circle on it. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. There is a red circle, and I got this zoomed in. I don't know how well this will pick up on here, but supposedly that tree is supposed to be a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So
hold up.
I mean, in my honest opinion, it definitely looks like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Inconclusive. Just the way I'm looking at it without it zoomed in, it almost looks like a burr on a tree. So, see, I'll try to show it again without it zoomed in. But to me, if these people saw it, but this image, in my honest opinion, doesn't do justice. I mean, it could be a Bigfoot. I'm not going to deny that it's not.
Hold up.
Dude, I see Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, let me try one more thing.
Let's see that picture again. Hold on, let me see that picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna show it large here. Hold on.
It's real blurry.
Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, because I got well, I'm not supposed to show this picture that I have, and I thought it was that one that was there. But hold up.
Yeah, that's Casper.
To me, even if you were to try to zoom in on that, it's going to be so pixelated that you won't be able to make nothing out. It's just going to look like a big blob.
Yeah, like that there. I just zoomed.
No pun intended.
Zoomed in on
Yeah.
it.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me show you one.
All right, hold on. Let me click off my. Let me undo my screen.
Can y'all see that?
I'll click on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can see that. You can see
right there. Yeah, that clearly looks like an upright figure with an arm hanging off the side.
Okay, this was taken in Denton, Texas, and what you saw here was it actually they saw uh, they saw it eating pecans, and so the guy kind of freaked out a little bit, and finally took out his camera out and took a picture, and that's the picture that he took, and that's in Denton County, Texas. But you could actually again, and you, there it is over there. You could actually see it standing there in upright position. So, and this was here was a couple of months ago.
It looks like one.
The Scottish Wild Man says, "Don't believe anything when someone has to circle it." LOL.
There. Normally when people send me stuff, uh, and if I kind of agree, but there's sometimes too, even without the circle, you can actually tell that there's something
Yeah.
there. But if you have to draw a circle, yeah, for sure. But even without the circle, you can see something there. But if you could actually see it again here, you could actually see that the thing has like a collar around the neck. So even Gigantopithecus actually had a collar around the neck as well. So again, this was actually taken a couple of months ago. So in Dallas area. So
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. It's been awesome being on the show tonight. Great discussions and appreciate it, Daniel.
Absolutely.
Hey
Tell you
Jimmy,
Guys,
what. For
Jimmy, give me a
oh,
call
go
because
ahead, Bob.
I gotta tell you a ghost story. What happened to me?
okay, go ahead.
And I bought this box, and it's a weird. It's an old box, and I believe it was made for a mat making. I believe. And so what happened was actually had it on the table by the kitchen area, and then my bedroom is out there, so I had the door wide open. And so I went up there, and there was a little bit of light coming in through the kitchen area. And then I don't know what made me wake up, and when I looked towards the kitchen area, towards the table, it was actually I could have swore that I saw a man uh, right in front, sitting down on the table, running at this box, right? And then so I noticed at the box, and I shook my head, and I said, "Man, whatever it is gone." And then all of a sudden, the door to the box closed by itself.
That's cool. That's cool. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So I still got, and that's the only activity that ever happened with that box. And I'm going, and then so somebody told me, did you get scared? I said no, and stuff like that happens to me all the time. It's just
Yeah.
like a duck to water. So when I'm going, but
Like I tell a lot of people, you don't need to fear the dead. You need to fear the living.
Yeah.
oh
Those are the people
sure,
that can hurt you.
yeah,
Once you're gone, you're gone. You can't. They can't hurt you.
right. Yeah. So again, there's sometimes they're dealing with the paranormal. People like always get freaked out and stuff like that with it and stuff. So again, it's just like a duck to water. Again, you can feel the good, you can feel the bad, but and basically again, it's the gift that a person has, and a certain thing that a person has that you know. I mean, all I can tell you is the gift, and for me to see that, and for me actually to, it's like this one particular moment was I actually saw this character, and the door to this box just close up, and it was just fascinating.
That's cool.
Yeah. So.
That's sweet. All right,
And
guys.
yeah, I want to remind.
Bobcat, guys. I will see you all later.
All
All
right.
Good
See
right,
you
night.
guys.
sounds good. Thank you again, Jimmy. And yeah, I
Then
want to
there was
remind everybody real quick. Everybody, don't forget the link to order this hat is in the description, or if you're on Facebook, you can find the link, the custom ink link, on my Facebook timeline. This is a fundraiser. This is our first time we've ever sold
Oh
hats.
yes.
So, yeah, so the link is on my timeline. You can order through the custom ink link on my timeline, or if you're not on Facebook, you can get the description on the YouTube in the description part. So just wanted to show everybody that, remind everybody, take advantage of it. They're only running for 4 weeks total. We've had 5. No, actually, we had 7 sold so far. Um, so there you go. All right. So
I get
there
mine
we
Wednesday
go.
or Thursday, man. Wednesday or Thursday, I'll get mine definitely.
All right.
now.
Yeah.
8
Anyone who
days.
anyone who's ordered them, when the fundraiser's over, they get shipped out within 2 weeks after it's done. So just like the shirts were. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Baltimore, what
Daniel,
was that?
has there been any more questions that the viewers have actually asked, or anybody has a question that they that we could probably answer for them?
I've been watching everything pretty much. There's hasn't been no new questions. Uh, yeah, there's nothing new. I've been watching comments and chats pretty close. So,
I got a question for
uh,
Baltimore.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you think there's any correlation between Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and skinwalkers or Wendigo or even the
You're
chupacabra, whatever they talk about down there in Texas. Is there any correlation you think between that, or
you're
um
you're talking about three different entities there. It's a big difference between a Bigfoot and and uh, and the Skinwalker or whatever. It's a big difference between that. It's you talk about something that's sacred to Native American people,
yeah,
and then so again you talk about two things that are sacred to more Native American people, but I think they more respect the Bigfoot and
okay,
more fear the skinwalkers or whatever. There's some people that don't even talk about them.
right.
It's like a demonic. It's a demonic state. So which nobody talks about it.
I saw a
Compared,
show called Skinwalker Ranch, was a documentary films, and they said it was supposed to ranch, and they said they'd seen Bigfoot on that ranch too. That's why I was asking.
see, because again, it's basically the person who tells the story. That's basically history. It's basically his story.
Right.
And I could come up there and make a mouse sound like a monster
Yeah.
if I wanted to. Everything depends upon the story.
Right.
And I'll give you another thing. Even the chupacabra. The chupacabra is again. It's not the major coyotes that they see or the major foxes they see
Right.
or try to pass it to the people that's a chupacabra, and it's not. There was only one chupacabra that was ever killed, and that happened in Poteet, Texas, and a farmer killed it because it was after his chickens. So they actually came up there and actually picked up the body and told him that he could not go up there and go to the American news and find and give him any history like that, or if not, something bad was going to happen to him. So what he did was he put in the Mexican news and actually went up there and told his story about what happened in his ranch and actually showed photos of the
I saw something like
chupacabra.
that on TV on YouTube about that. I think
Yeah,
was
but
it, he
but
said was killing his chickens or something, and the
yeah,
government
but
tried to say it was a raccoon or something with mange or something or a
yeah,
fox with mange.
but the thing is again, what you see all this stuff about the chupacabra, going on four legs, it's a coyote. It's a major coyote. I've seen them all the time, and there's nothing different about it. Just as a coyote with the mange, and it's not the chupacabra. You could actually see a bear that has a mange and call it a creature. Ooh, but it's not.
What is the
So,
chupacabra? What is that thing? A spiritual thing? Do a demon or something?
oh God.
I was wondering.
Chupacabra, the very first place times they actually see Chupacabra was actually in Puerto Rico, and that was the first reported case in that. And a lot of it is people say it's protected by the government there. We don't know how it came down here or if it actually came down here and escaped. Uh, I want to tell you a story like that, more or less, that you can understand it. Uh, I was working in this place where there was had a whole bunch of goats, and I noticed that this goat. I've been missing goats quite a bit. I probably lost like around 35 of them. And then so this one particular day, I noticed one that's laying down the road and it was still alive. So I looked at it, and right behind the head, it actually had like a hole or something like that, a wound in the back of the head. You could actually see the blood, a little bit of the blood come out of it. And then on the side, there was a hole on the side. So what I did was I actually I didn't want the animal to suffer, so I actually euthanized it. And so I decided to do an autopsy there, to see exactly for myself exactly what was going on inside this creature, right, and inside this goat. So when I cut it, no blood, hardly no blood came out. Well, it was very odd. So when I opened it up, I noticed that part of the liver was eaten out, and also too part of the heart was actually pierced, and just through that little hole. And I've actually found like around 5 goats like that. And so when I went up there, and this one particular evening, I saw something way maybe like around 300, 400 yards away, maybe even 500 yards away, and there's something on this tree, and it looked just like a midget. That's the best way to really describe something small like that on top of this tree. But I didn't have a rifle with me. I didn't have no binoculars with me or anything. So I couldn't determine what it was. So what I did was I woke up that morning, early in the morning, at dark, got my rifle, got my binoculars and everything like that to check if this thing was still on that tree. Gone. So
Like a person midget or an animal midget?
it looked like a little human, a small little thing.
Wow.
But it was wild. You could actually see the shape of the head and the shape of the body, and you could tell it was small.
Wow.
But again, it's you have to know exactly what you. Well, I didn't know what I was looking at. I never seen nothing like that before. And do I think it was a chupacabra? Maybe. I couldn't tell you because I haven't seen anything like that before. There's something special that small like that, climbing a tree that high, and I believe it was eyeballing. So
Hey, Baltimore, real quick, before because we're going to be ending soon, I want to show you this picture. It was a post I came across. It's got a couple different structures, but this is interesting. I don't know where this came from, what state. It doesn't specify. Because I briefly read through this, but let me hold this up and I'll try to show you guys on my phone. Hold on, let me click on it here. Right there.
Oh wow.
Pretty
yeah,
interesting, ain't it?
yeah, man.
Is
When they find structures like that, I would love to see like 10 photos of it, like all different shapes, all different angles, the front, the back, the inside, and stuff like that, to actually to see
here's
what that
another one.
structure was for. It,
Right.
I didn't
Well,
see that
let
one.
me get. Um.
I've seen them like that around here.
Yeah. Hold on. I gotta
Falls
pull it.
Lake and West Point. Yeah. They're like that around here, man. And they in the river. They look like that, yeah. We have a lot of those around here.
That
Hmm.
wow. See, because again, I mean, man, Daniel, because when I was when I would do my programs, I would actually make houses like that.
Yeah. Now I've
Wow,
seen stuff almost similar to this here. I've come across similar. Yeah.
wow.
But
Daniel, if you look at
yeah.
my inner river, me and my mother driving through there, and I take the pictures on the side, I say there's a structure on my YouTube. I'll try to send it to you. The road right beside Roxborough Road. It looks like it's something like that last picture you see. It looks just like that. I'll send you the video on your email so you can see it.
See,
It's just like that, man. It's like
Daniel, it's if you actually noticed, because we actually made a whole bunch of uh, TP structures like that in order for us to again for shelter and stuff, and that's what we normally use for a shelter. And then
Right.
also too that there's actually been people, Native American people, that would actually go into the house, into the woods, and actually make structures like that, and actually leave them there. And if anybody, because I mean that's the way that we were taught, and I mean because you start off with two trees like this, and then you put one, and then you put one in back of it, and then you just start adding on to it. I mean, there's certain
Oh
things to
yeah.
do. And also too, I would love to find out if if some of them had like 13 sticks on there or whatever. Or there's certain amount of numbers that Native Americans hold that sacred. And I was and how there's certain amount of poles that go on a teepee, and also too, I would love to find out if they had a certain number like that on there. Again, that's part of the studying part, because also too, a lot of the structures also, they would actually make wiki ups. Bigfoot would actually make wiki ups, and that's one thing that Apaches live with, are actually wiki ups, and it's actually how you actually into do the weaving of the inside of the branches without using the ropes and stuff. I mean, there's certain ways of doing
Right.
it. And the thing is, again, you have to be taught to do that. And whoever taught the people how, these structures that are made, I wonder who taught them to make these certain structures. So
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You guys probably seen some of these, but I'll go through a few. I'm gonna try to hold it up, and then these are some of my structures I come across. All right, hold on. Make sure I scroll the right way.
I always look to see, make sure they ain't cut with a knife or a saw. If they're like broken, it's more reasonable for me to believe, something.
Daniel, go back to the first one. Go back to your first one.
This
No,
one.
yeah, that one. Yeah. See you know what gets me about that, about the X structures, and for me
Yeah. Well,
it's
this.
like the four direct.
We
Yeah.
have those in West Point,
Yeah.
I've got
See,
4 or 5 videos
Hey,
like that.
hey, you want to know
yeah.
what's interesting about this one right here? This one here is uh, real close to the wildlife center. So that
Wow.
borders the you got the parkway. This is all part of the parkway and that, like, the Shenandoah Park.
Right.
Hold on, there's a uh, not the best one, but one of my favorites still. This was about
Yeah.
20 feet from a stream right here.
Wow. See, the thing
Yeah.
is, Daniel, it's
Well,
like
none in there
why would
like that.
it's like this, Daniel. Why would they make something like that? It can't be a shelter. It has to be a marker. It has to
Well,
be because it means something. It means something to. It's like if, let's say, for example, you go into an. Let's say, for example, if somebody's waiting for you, or you want to give a person that's going to go to that area a message, and they see that, and it means something to that individual, or that it means something to that, and then it's
well,
supposed to be some kind of communication part.
right. Have you ever seen like a teepee or a tripod with a little mini one next to it?
No, I have not, because the only thing is, like here, like there's so much brush down here in the bottom that they. Oh
All right.
wow.
Mm.
All right. That was only about 4 feet tall, but look at right next to it. That that was about 2 feet from it. That little one.
See again, Daniel, that right there is the only reason why I'm saying I'm thinking that there was a female and a baby,
A
Yeah.
marker.
because a baby might have seen trying to mimic the mom what he was doing. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've often thought about that. Stuff like this. All right. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Hold on. This is one of my favorite finds right here. I've showed this in the past. All those different limbs and branches intertwined.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Right.
I like that. That there to me, when I come across stuff like this, that's fascinating. This is in my research area right here.
Now let me ask you
So,
this: was there anything in the inside of it, like a stone
no, it was
or?
basically like well, that kind of detail. If there was, I failed to realize that. I didn't, I didn't think of looking for anything like that. But this
Because
here was on the lower base of a hill, because if you look behind it, it goes up to a ridge.
wow,
So yeah,
yeah,
so
because I've actually heard of individual that actually found a structure in the center and the bottom of that structure was a rock
yeah.
or there was a skull.
Now this here was my favorite right here. This teepee structure. I actually used this image on one of my books that I had published. So that right there.
Wow.
Trying to hold it in a different angle to make sure you guys can see it. But yeah, yep,
Oh, I love it.
yeah.
I've seen this before.
You know who was with me when I found this?
Who's that?
Fred.
No
Yeah,
way.
Fred Canny.
Oh.
Yeah, this was the day when we had those tree knocks. When I gave off a tree knock and I got 2 different responses,
Uh-huh.
Fred was with me. They ended up finding this up behind us, up on the going back up the hill. Yeah,
Wow. Man,
that's where.
when I
Yeah,
was
this is all.
it's,
Yeah, it's all across from my camp. Yep.
man, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Next time, if you find a structure like that, always take a compass with you, and to find out.
Okay. Yeah.
And it might be like north, south, east, west, with the 4 directions on that. And even with the X structure, that's a Native American symbol as well. But the X in the
Right.
center is basically means the 4 directions. So yeah, so yeah. Right now, I'm slowly starting to understand structures, and
Wow.
at first I ignored so much of it. So now
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot from it now. So
I
how
know
many
I got a
viewers?
few other things on here somewhere.
How many viewers do we have?
It's dropped down. A lot of people are going to bed. We're down to 13 total right now
Wow. How many did we have to
between
begin with?
Facebook. Earlier when we were after we got going, we had a following around 25 to 30.
Wow. Because
But by the time I end this up, we'll have a bigger. I'll get a total number of views afterwards.
Hey, Daniel, man, Baltimore. Right beside West Point of England, on the right hand side of the little dirt road going into the park, down to the river where the mill is, the feed mill. There's a egg structure there, right? But you said it's directional pointing. I wonder because the X's, the points on them, one way is where the river branches off in 2 sections down at Penny's Bend, right? The other 2 points is up on the other end of the river, branches off in 2 branches. Does that mean something right there?
hold on, say that again.
All right, there's an X going into West Point of over here on Roxford Road near my house. You on the right hand side of the little dirt path is like a house, big old like 1800 some built in 1800 house on the left. On the right is right there in the woods, right beside Roxborough Road, the main road. Where the
Okay.
mill is, it's a big X on well with 2 points of the X. The other 2 the other end it branches off in 2 branches like this. It's like this, 2 different ways. The X is like okay, the X is here, right?
Uh-huh.
That way, the river branches off 2 different. What is that gonna have anything to do with that? With the X being there?
Let me ask you this: who lives in that old house?
Nobody. The park rangers keep it and they close it in the daytime. At nighttime it closes at 6 until 9 or 10 the next morning. That's all the park is closed. They don't nobody.
Does everybody leave?
Yeah, everybody does. They just lock the gate up and that's it. It's closed.
And then after that, the structure was found there, just like that.
It's been there on the side that every time I go by there on my old videos, I've always taken it on the video. You can see the X there on the side, on the right hand side of that little dirt road or that little path going down to the river, where the big mill is, the old mill, and the old speed mills down there, and the river
Right.
is. But
Yeah.
then branches off in two branches, and this way it branches off in two branches.
Right.
I wonder if that could be the X.
Well, here's something that would you remember too. Little
And
kids.
it ain't where everybody can see it. I mean, it's up there on a little hill covered by bushes and stuff. And I happened to notice it because, I started watching Daniel's videos and stuff, and where they had the different shows where they had the X's, and I'm like, Mama, that looks like an X right there. I see it on YouTube.
Yeah. Here's something to think about, Kelly, and it should be way far out first of why these exes or why they made the stuff that they do. I remember as a little kid, I used to get a little marker, and if I would go underneath the bridge, I would put my name on it because Baldy was here, and this certain date
Yeah.
and time.
Yep.
So what makes us think that those structures that they made was, hey, dude, I was here in this certain spot.
Right.
It
That's
was
a
just
good point.
5 years ago when the guy took the picture of the black Bigfoot running through the snow. It was like a real big blizzard here 4 or 5 years ago. And some guy, he was a park ranger actually, he got fired from that job when he came out on YouTube talking about it. West Point, and there's some other guys come out behind him trying to make fun of it, doing their own video of it. But the guy actually got fired for doing that. And it showed something big and black and bulky just running through the woods, and it was real fast when it ran. And I don't think a person would do that in a costume unless, I don't know. I know them trees and things, out there on the ground and beside the river. Because it got full of logs and rocks and stuff, and it'd be kind of hard to run through that even on snow, to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, getting back to the structures, we don't know, why they make these structures for. Hell, you know what? They could even be bored, dude. I mean, they could be bored and build it.
Yeah.
They're, sometimes why has no answers. We can, we could make up so many theories, so many hypotheses, and so many different things, and we just don't know what
Yeah.
it
That's.
really means. So,
I mean,
It's like
people
Sticky
ask.
had his little
It's like,
sticks, but he was like toys to him, I think, When he had the
what
yeah.
little
did Daniel?
sticks and would
I
bring
mean,
them.
people ask me. Yeah, people ask me what I think about certain ones. I mean, and I'll tell people what I think. I mean, I have my opinion or my belief. And one thing I'll always try to make sure people understand: my theory or my belief does not make it a fact.
Mhm.
So I mean, but thoughts or opinions about what they might mean, they're all right. There's no, but then again, they're not wrong. They're it's either way. It's just there's certain ones I like to believe. And I try to give an explanation why I believe something might be this, and like X's. We come across X's. We got to be very objective on these because a lot of times that's trees when they get blown over and knocked together from the storm and the damage, they might just fall that way and catch that way. We don't know. People fail to
Yeah.
understand that. So, but then again, I like to think that it. X is almost to me sounds like it's the
X
feeling I
marks
get
the spot.
from looking that or like, hey, yeah, don't go beyond this point, or this is a territorial or dominance, or you know, and a lot of people think broken trees are markers. The
See,
only thing I believe that are markers are the ones that are Native American related because I come across them on some occasions.
see,
What
Curved
if the
over and
wood?
going up.
What if it's like hardwood in the middle of a pine forest? Though I'm saying, and ain't no hardwood around growing. What about them?
don't know.
Like, all right, well,
That was my question. Like if it was from an oak tree or a hardwood tree. It wasn't pine. It was in a pine forest, and you see the.
well, that's kind of like the picture I showed earlier of the trees that are woven together. The different limbs.
Yeah.
Those I find fascinating because if you take the time to look at everything the way they're put together, and then look at each one and say, well, they don't all belong to each other.
Yeah.
And look in the surrounding area. Could that, you got to question yourself while you're studying, could they have fallen? But then again, there's some actual effort that's been put into that because they're actually intertwined and woven and twisted, whatever it may be. There's some, you know, there's certain ones I like to believe that are or were handmade
Right.
and, you know, put
Right.
with some effort, you know. But yeah, those are the ones
You
that
know,
fascinate me. When you can look at the different ones that have come from different species of trees, those are something to consider. So
yeah, but the
yeah,
thing is also too, Daniel, is that here comes another question. So we're going to throw y'all, put the little monkey wrench on this little thing here, and these little structures and everything like that type deal is how many, how many Sasquatches did it take to make that structure? Was it one? Was it two? Was it a family? Because again,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That's a good point because you think if there's two or three of them together, and say we come across, like I've come across a number of occasions. Again, I always try to be careful on how I present it because it could be natural by some chance or handmade. But if the Sasquatches are doing it, yeah, yeah, I like why that you brought that up because maybe each of them pick up a stick
yeah.
or they all come together and lean it up against something. To them, that may mean something that we don't understand. You know,
Maybe
so
you know, maybe
it
maybe
could,
they're playing, maybe that they're playing a game. Again,
yeah. Oh,
it could be a lot of things. Let's go see who gets the longest stick or whatever. But again, it could be a game. It could be a marker. It could be. It's just. The minds can go forever. Perfect example of what Sean said. Forest start. Again, because we
right.
just don't know. We just don't know. So.
Back in 2015, the whole month of August was my birthday. My mom took me down there every week that month to Penny's Bend. I go down there and catfish all day till it get kind of, dark a little bit and she picked me up in the boat around. But I think about the third time I was down there, and I found these rocks that were stacked up like this, and I always wondered what that was, if it was kids doing it or if it was them. I don't know, because the wild fish cat was right down there where the old dock used to be. It's old wooden, looked like an old wooden dock halfway out the. I was down there thinking it was the water was low and it was above the water. The dock was. That's why I sat on the fish. And usually when it's low, when it's dry season, that's where the yellow jackets be. So I always take me some chicken livers down there and make sure the yellow jackets don't bother me. They have a thing with chicken livers, they don't bother me. So, but I noticed these little rocks were like stacked up like this. Probably like the third time I was down there, and I was like every time I go down there, there'd be rocks, little things that were stacked up. I wonder if that's like by them or he's gonna be a person doing it. Because I was the only one down there fishing. I was probably like a week. I went down there 1 week, like 3 days in a row. The people down there fishing, but nobody hardly goes down there like they used to. And basically I was the only one fishing when I would go. And I wonder what would do that. Like I wonder if they stack rocks like that. I don't know. I've never researched or asked or seen anything about it. But you think they stack rocks too?
Yeah, because the thing is, again, I saw one the other day where a person left for a couple of weeks, came back, and there was a rock stack that was over like 12 feet tall,
Oh wow!
and
Wow.
weighed
6 or 7 rocks,
weighed
or
weighed hundred
5 in the most.
weighed like 40, 50 pound rocks,
Oh, these are
and
like little
just sat
small
and
ones.
yeah, and just put it straight up in the air like that. Again, it came back to the theory that Daniel and I was talking about was how many Bigfoots you think actually stacked those rocks up there, or or who stacked them that tall, you know. But there's actually photographs of that a friend of mine has. That he actually showed it to us in a meeting. But again, again, it's just the unknown. A gentleman that came up there, talked about a four start. I can't even tell you how many times that that stuff would fall, and you would think that there are Bigfoot or something like that there. just and then until you walk up there until you know. So Daniel, 3 hours already. This is the second time that we did over
Oh,
3 hours.
my
Baltimore, it's all your fault. You come in here late and run us late.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We start talking about the coronavirus, and then we start taking out of cans, and then talking about all different kinds of stuff. And people are going, "Oh my goodness, what else
I
are you
know.
guys gonna be talking about?" And then they talk about Viagra, a Bigfoot, and then you have little feet shaped like Viagra pills shaped like little feet. So if
Yeah.
y'all market that, I got the idea for that. So yeah, hmm only in your show,
Yeah, we're all
Daniel.
holding up. Yeah. It's well, we got to blame Bobcat. He's the one that brought it up.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we'll never hear the end of that one.
Yeah, what I need to do at the beginning and the start of every podcast, you know, is do a disclaimer speech or something. But it doesn't help for everybody who's already watching. Well, that jumps on afterwards and later. But it's all good. We all, that's the thing. We could have great serious discussions and still have fun. And it gives the listeners or viewers, they know that it's a laid back, you know, um, laid back but yet serious at the same time. We're random with discussions. We like to have a good time. We try
That's
to keep
true.
it, you know, yeah, and people like what we share. I've saw some really great feedback earlier. People they really enjoy this. They love the different opinions and the the different theories and all that good stuff. So
You
um,
never. I mean, again, you never know what's gonna happen in your show. So that was what makes the show great. So
absolutely.
yeah, all the different characters, all the different characters that you have up today. So
And oh yeah, and I'm getting familiar with different people. There's so many new subscribers, and I'm glad our audience, our viewers are growing, and more people are starting to share now. So that really helps out a lot.
hey Daniel,
So
can you show this real quick? This
yeah,
is
let me pop up. Hold on, there we go. Give me. Did I
Oh,
do it? Oh,
wow.
there we go.
this is a small little
Bigfoot
store in
Burger.
Berkeley. Yeah, Bigfoot Burger is a small little store in Berkeley, Texas, and I actually put some signs up for a Bigfoot forum that we had, and they had the brilliant idea of making a Bigfoot burger, and with that little sign there, and people have been stopping there and trying to ask questions on there, and then so
Nice.
That's so cool, man.
what I'm going to be doing there is I'm going to try to get a little information center going.
Yeah.
If anybody has Bigfoot reports, if any, and I'm going to jump on this because if anybody has any Bigfoot reports, stories, or anything like that, I want to know about it. And what was wild about it in 1975 in Berkeley, Bigfoot was seen everywhere there. There was even one lady that was driving home, and there's a bridge there, and here comes this creature that's standing right in the middle of the road, and she stops right in front of it. She didn't want to hit it with the car, so the creature actually got his fist and slammed his fist on the hood to the car, and she just swerves the vehicle and takes off back to the house. Everybody thought she was on drugs but okay. If I'm drunk or whatever, how do you explain the big old fist mark on the hood of my car? So I mean, stuff happened there in 1975 that I'm trying to get more stories there, and but the creature was very active that year. I don't know what happened in 1975, but there was a lot of stuff that happened in 1975. The Big Bird was seen, Lizard Man, a lot of different cryptids were seen in 1975. So,
Oh yeah, absolutely,
mhm.
absolutely. We definitely have a history of cryptids. That's for sure. You know, and as Bigfoot is my main subject that I pay attention to. On occasions, I like to say that I give others some attention once in a while. It's just I feel like Bigfoot is more of in my opinion, and with really explain why, but I just feel like Bigfoot is more of a subject from compared to other certain cryptids, because I believe there's more evidence that supports them, even though some of us we have seen them, but as far as for others out there, you know, there's I believe in spreading awareness to get people to understand, especially the skeptics and non-believers. Yeah, I'm not trying to convince them that they exist, but I believe that they should be aware or consider the evidence that there is out there. So.
Yeah. Now there's
But
something dealing with cryptid, and I mean, I'm just waiting for the next cryptid that's going to show up because I've been hearing stories about rake. I don't know if you heard of
The
the
rake, yeah.
heard of
Like a
creature.
Dover demon. It's supposed to be a rake. In
So
Dover,
they
Massachusetts.
they actually saw one. Apparently, somebody saw one down here. There was something wrong with his legs, and so that's the information that I got from it. I thought that was kind of bizarre. But we actually got the chupacabra down here, and we actually got the big bird down here. We actually got there's actually another one uh, that there's actually like a winged man that actually was actually seen out here as well, and I actually had two reports about
Hmm. She's quiet. Oh man. All right. She said. She said, "Just kidding. I love you guys."
Man, let me tell you
Well, we
one
love you
thing.
too,
Dealing
Jen.
with it, yeah, love you too, Jen. The sheep squatchers have been real popular in my town. I was the other day. I was in Chili's, and they were talking about the sheep squashers, and when the sheep squashers coming back in town, and I was at who was I actually at again? I was at Chili's, I was at Walmart, and I was in a few other stores, and they were talking about the sheep squashers when they were going to come back into town and stuff like that. I said, well, Jenna and I are going to be doing another research here real soon, and that's all that they talked about because it was pretty wild because they put it in the paper and everything, and they were so fascinating that a person from out of town would actually come to Beeville, Texas, just to go look for Bigfoot. And then so the
Hmm.
sheep squasher's name was basically on there. I thought that was incredible and that was great. So, and I got two
Absolutely.
articles. I got two articles for me to send to Jen, and I'll give it to Jenna so that she could take it home with her. So
Is it is she single,
Who?
Jen?
Ask her.
yeah, dude, ask her in Bigfoot.singles.com. Yeah.
Hey, if you're single, I'm single. Let's do this.
Hey,
Uh,
Bobcat Virginia in June, so she's gonna be there. Go ahead. You buy her a drink, okay? We're gonna be
Yep,
hanging out after. We're gonna be hanging out at the bar at the hotel, so you can buy her a
I
drink.
will. And I'll get down on my knees.
She she drinks water on the. She's no. Oh my. Well,
I'm looking
guys,
for a I'm looking for a Bigfoot wife. I want I want to get married.
you're gonna have to move out to Minnesota. So, and don't even think about talking to Jenna. She's engaged. So,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No,
Dang.
Jenna is engaged. Jen, I do believe is single. So,
Oh,
yeah. So watch out, Jen. Bobcat is coming for you.
yep. How I was
Yeah.
originally talking about Jen, so
Oh yeah. So Jen, watch out. He's coming to get his squatch on with you. Oh, Lord. We're gonna have to wrap it up. 'Cause,
3.5 hours. Wow.
Wow.
That's a record, ain't it,
See-
Daniel?
yeah, see, Baltimore keeps talking. He's taking this into another hour. I'm picking
Breaking
Baltimore.
records.
So everyone who's left on there, remember, look in the description. If you're on YouTube, check out the description, the link that's there for the hats. Get your hats. They're limited time. If you're on Facebook, you can find it on my timeline. It's been shared around. It's in the ECBR groups, the page, ECBR pages. And we had a great time tonight.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm always looking forward to every Friday for our Bigfoot chat, Friday Bigfoot chats. So, and hopefully for those who are on the panel now, or the live chat, make sure you tune in next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and until next time, we're jumping out of here. And of course, it takes forever for me to log out because this
Good
new
night, guys.